Out in just a moment. But it's just a regular season game.
Yeah, right.
There's nothing extra attached to this.
Yeah, right.
It's just a regular season game.
Yeah, right.
Take a look at the Budweiser starting lineup for the New York Yankees. They lead it off with Chuck Knobloch at second base. Bernie Williams bats second and center. Paul O'Neill will hit third and right field, and Derek Jeter cleans up this afternoon. He cleans up for the first time. Not a bad choice. Number one in the league, getting 377. Tino Martinez at first. Scott Brocious at third. Ricky Leday is in left field. Jorge Posada catching, and Andy Pettitte, who has one career major league hit, bats ninth to look at the Mets defense.
The difference is in the two defenses today. The Mets had the best infield defense. The Yankees had the best outfield defense and better defense behind the plate. Henderson, Roger Cedeno in center. Vinny Akbayani, a great story about 2 weeks ago here for the Mets. Robin Ventura and his 5 gold gloves at third. Ray Ordonez, Edgardo Alfonso, John Olerud, a fine defensive infield, and Mike Piazza behind the plate. And they'll be backing up Rick Reed. And the big problem with Rick Reed this year, walks. Consider this when we're talking about numbers. The last 2 years coming into the 1999 season, Rick Reed walked 60 in 425 innings. This year, he has half that many walks in 87 innings. So location has been a problem. And since he's not a hard thrower, then he's going to get hit around when he can't find the strike zone. He's got to control both sides of the plate. Location is imperative, and everything off the fastball. In other words, his breaking ball is relatively flat. Got a pretty good curveball occasionally, but the straight change and fastballs on both sides of the plate. That's what you can look for today from Rick Reed.
Chuck Knobloch stands in. He gets announced. He gets booed. Those are the Yankee fans booing him. No, I'm just kidding. He's hitting 268, 4 homers, 26 RBIs, and a nightmare start to this season defensively for Knobloch. The broadcast also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. Here we go. First pitch. Strike one. It'll be Knobloch, Williams, and O'Neill here in the first inning for the Yankees, who come in 51 and 33 on the year. Right back to Reed. 1 out. Easy play for Reed as he was in good fielding position, a one-hopper. Knobloch is gone, and Bernie Williams will stand in. So as Keith Olbermann talked about in our pregame show, Joe Torre talking about moving the furniture around with this lineup. He's got expensive furniture. He's got good, young, expensive furniture. And he's got Bernie Williams batting second today. And again, Derek Jeter cleans up with O'Neill hitting third and right. Bases empty, 1 out, and a ball.
Moving furniture around, Bernie Williams is the Baccarat crystal in that dining room or living room. Bernie signing a 7-year contract, $87 million.
Headed to another All-Star game on Tuesday night in Boston. Third time he's been a part of that team. It'll be the second time that he will participate, injured in last year's game, but went nonetheless.
Speaking of the number 2, the 13th time that Bernie Williams has hit second this year. But the big surprise in the Yankee lineup is Derek Jeter, who has batted in the number 2 hole for most of the season, batting 4th today.
Take a look at the Yankee All-Stars. David Cone, his 5th. Bernie Williams, his 2nd. He has been named to 3 teams, as I mentioned. Derek Jeter is 2nd. Mariano Rivera, his 2nd. He will not participate. A strike on 3-0. It's 3-1.
Charles Nagy of the Cleveland Indians named in Mariano Rivera's place. Mariano will be going back to his hometown right outside Panama City, Panama, for personal reasons. Legitimate excuse to miss the game.
3-0 to 3-2.
What is not legitimate, in my view, is when players say, I want the 3 days off. I've never understood that, never will understand that.
At least make something up.
Yeah, make something up. Smart about it.
3 balls, 2 strikes on Williams. 1 out, nobody on. Up the middle, tough play. Base hit. Alfonso did all he could. And the running speed of Williams just too good. That's an infield hit.
A lot of times base runners, fine play by Alfonso to make it even anywhere close. But Bernie Williams was going into his turn. A lot of times when guys who hit the ball think the ball's going to end up in the outfield, they end up running outside the line. Watch Bernie Williams swing to his right there, thinking the ball was going to be in there, and Alfonso came up with it. That's what this defensive infield for the Mets can do on a regular basis.
Here's Paul O'Neill. I thought something looked odd on that play. It was far too close. Pretty good throw over to first, and they nearly picked Williams off. And now he calls time as you look at O'Neill digging in with that 287 average, and Bernie Williams is going to dig at the dirt here at Shea Stadium. You never know what you're going to find when you dig at the dirt around this place.
Better than digging at the dirt of the Meadowlands, however.
Might find something smiling back at you. Only a rumor. No fact involved there whatsoever. 1 on, 1 out. Paul O'Neill. First pitch to O'Neill. Hit well into right. At the track. At the wall. 2-0 Yankees in the first.
He did.
He hits number 9. He hit 24 a year ago. His average 287 as he stepped to the plate here this afternoon. He's been waiting for that for a while. 1 out, nobody on, and Jeter batting cleanup takes a strike.
First breaking ball of the game by Rick Reed. That's a dangerous slider. If you don't get it in on the hands, it goes into that vulnerable down and in area.
Good pitch from Reed, and the count 0-2 on Jeter. We watched Reed stay away with Bernie Williams. He came in with a breaking ball to O'Neill. Oops. 2-0 Yankees. 1 out, bases empty, 0-2 to Jeter. 2 gone.
Batting fifth, number 24, first baseman Tino Martinez.
Paul O'Neill on that slider. Sometimes when pitchers are trying to set up hitters, they don't get far enough into the count to set them up. Sometimes the hitter hits the setup pitch, and that's what happened then when Paul O'Neill cranked that slider out of the ballpark.
Tino Martinez has ridden one out of the park 14 times this year. He's driven in 54, hitting 274. Batting fifth in this lineup and taking a ball. Hey, guess what you folks missed?
And another 100 people just got off of the train.
A 1-0 to Martinez, 2-0. Bases empty with 2 out. Now 3-0 from Rick Reed.
Tino Martinez will be hitting here. Anything on the inside part of the plate, Scott Brocious on deck. But with 2 out and nobody on, Joe Torre will give the hit sign to his left-handed sluggers. Martinez is certainly one of them.
He fits the description. Took a strike, 3-1.
That strike was on the outside part of the plate. Good power hitters like that zero in on that smaller imaginary box, looking for the ball on the inside part.
Usually the only constant noise you hear at this ballpark, the noise of jets going by overhead from LaGuardia. Right kind of noise here at this park this afternoon. 3-1 pitch, tailing delivery, strike 2.
One of those rare days where the noise can drown out the jets.
Martinez trying to keep this first half inning alive. It's been a productive first inning for the Yankees, up by 2. Same pitch, didn't get the call. Maybe a little inside, and a 2-out walk puts Tino Martinez aboard and keeps this inning alive for Scott Brocious.
Pitch was just a little bit higher than that 3-1 pitch, but watch it tail back in. Was it on the corner? That is a very, very close pitch. That ball's waist high, so it couldn't have been called a ball because it was too high.
Pretty good indication as you saw Martinez on 2 consecutive pitches give up. As to how much Reed's ball is moving back over the inside corner to those lefties. Strike 1 to Brocious.
That's that two-seam fastball. Was it on the plate? Wow, close.
But Martinez got the call. He's at first with a walk. The 0-1 to Brocious. Reed doesn't get that pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's going to be a long afternoon if Rick Reed can't get pitches like that, because he's not the type of pitcher, just like Andy Pettitte, who can use the fat part of the plate to get guys out on. He's got to be given the pitches on the corners to be successful.
1 ball, 1 strike. Brocious pops it up. Shallow right center for Cedeno. Roger puts it away. The first half inning complete. Paul O'Neill dialing long distance. That shot into right puts the Yankees up by 2 in the first. Andy Pettitte has hit the skids. He's also evidently hit the trading block. We'll see how he gets through today's game, and a look at the Budweiser starting lineup for the New York Mets. They lead it off with former Yankee Ricky Henderson in left field. Edgardo Alfonzo bats second. At second, John Olerud hits third. Then Mike Piazza went deep here last night. Basically the game-winning 3-run home run, is 18th jack of the season. Benny Agbayani is in right. Robin Ventura is at third. Roger Cedeno at center. Ray Ordonez at short. And Rick Reed, who has 7 hits on the year, will pitch and bat ninth to look at the Yankee defense.
Ricky Leday, who had his first start in center field on Wednesday night against Detroit, starts in left this afternoon. Bernie Williams in center, Paul O'Neill in right, Scott Brocious, Derek Jeter, Chuck Knobloch has had all sorts of throwing problems, as Joe alluded to in the top of the first. Tino Martinez at first, Jorge Posada. And I agree with Steve Lyons. I think the staple pitch for Andy Pettitte is that cut fastball inside along with his sliders. But the one thing that has also bothered Andy this year, the inability to get his changeup over. If he can establish that early, that will be a big help to him this afternoon, because these Mets are good, hard stuff hitters.
Ricky Henderson first up, offering at the first pitch, strike 1. Henderson, a .297 hitter. He's hit in 19 of his last 24. He's hit 6 home runs, and he's number 5 in the league with 22 steals. Still at the age of 40, one of the better table setters left in the game of baseball. 1 ball, 1 strike to Henderson. One ball, 1 strike. Henderson. Jam shot into left. A good start for the Mets. They put their leadoff man on. And for a Budweiser game break, let's go back to Chris Myers in the Fox Network Center.
All right, thanks, Joe. In the battle for Ohio, the baseball's best road team already out in front. Greg Vaughn with a 2-run homer off Tom Candiani, making his first start as an Indian since '91. That's Vaughn's 20th, and it's 3-0 in the second. Joe?
Thank you, Chris. I'm already starting it here as we approach the All-Star break. I don't think anybody has done a better job of managing in Major League Baseball this year than Jack McKeon.
No, I agree with that. Absolutely. Cincinnati Reds in first place.
Holding off the Astros by a game at the moment. They put Jack McKeon in place there as Alfonso stands in to oversee the transition as they approach a new ballpark, deal with some of the younger players. Good person to have in charge. All of a sudden, here they are, not just dealing with younger players and trying to get something put together. They're a legitimate team to appear in postseason. They got a win last night from Steve Avery in Cleveland.
You might throw Bruce Bochy of the San Diego Padres into that mix too, after giving away a lot of high-priced talent, having Kevin Brown signed as a free agent, the trades with Arizona, Ken Caminiti going to Houston.
Pettit misses with ball 2-0, and it gets interesting already for the Mets in their half of the first.
How about this for a matchup? And a matchup's all part of the game. John Olerud's been matched against some great pitchers throughout his career. But what about Ricky Henderson and Andy Pettit? Since Andy Pettit came into the American League, he has led the American League in pickoffs with 43. 4 this year. Ricky Henderson leads all base runners in stolen bases. Pay to see this.
Alfonso jammed it. Sounded like he broke his bat. He did. The count 2 balls and a strike.
Look at the scouting report for Andy Pettit. Needs to regain that confidence in the changeup. We talked about that. The cutter and the slider inside. And that's what he threw to Alfonso. And this is a very crucial start for Andy Pettit. The Yankees have been known to talk about dealing Andy to another ball club. And of course, there are a lot of teams that talk about it, but it seems like all the hearsay has become more than just a rumor in Andy Pettit's case.
Shot of Mel Stottlemyre, his pitching coach, on your left a moment ago. Alfonso trying to go to right. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There are a lot of different factors involved with Andy Pettit as he makes the start here this afternoon, and the potential of a trade. New York Yankees, believe it or not, have financial considerations with regard to Pettit, who will be due a big raise next year, and that just is the way baseball works these days. In arbitration, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And there's a look over to first. Henderson read it easily. When you look at what the Yankees face, Roger Clemens will probably have to renegotiate. He has the ability to demand a trade after being sent to the Yankees from the Toronto Blue Jays. Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera will be due huge raises. Stanton's a free agent. David Cohn signed a 1-year deal. He's a free agent. There goes Henderson. Got a good jump and steals it without a throw. Ricky Henderson wins that battle with Andy Pettit. The pitch was a called 3rd strike on Alfonso, so Edgardo was, I think, enraptured by the matchup as well. He paid to see it, and he just watched strike 3.
Ricky Henderson has a tremendous jump, but with 2 strikes on the hitter, your catcher, Posada in this case, wants the strike instead of coming out of there to throw out Ricky Henderson. You have a tendency to stay back for because your first responsibility is to try to get the strike, and that's what Posada did for Pettit.
Runner at second, 1 out. Olerud takes a ball. I don't think Posada had a chance anyway. With the kind of jump Henderson got off Pettit, he was wise to lay back, get strike 3, and now they deal with Olerud and then Piazza with a runner at second. 1 out at the moment. Olerud is driven in 52. He homered here last night. He needs a new bat the next time he comes to the plate as he grounds to Brosius. 2 gone. Pettit running it in on the hands of Olerud to get that out. In walks Piazza. The numbers for Piazza: 18 home runs. The average at .307. Bats with a runner at second. Henderson 2 out. Mets down by 2 in the first. takes a ball. Home run number 18 off Roger Clemens here last night.
Back up, knee-high slider. What a rocket that was that Mike fired out of here last night.
It's 2 out of 4 in the first game of this 3-game set. The 1-0 to Mike. Popped up to the right side. That ball will get out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Pretty good indication of Andy Pettit's stuff in the first inning. He jammed Edgardo Alfonso on a 2-0 pitch. And then he jammed Olerud on that weak ground ball to third. And then Mike Piazza couldn't get around on the fastball.
There is the Quinella from last night. And there's the other factor, Al Leiter, with his 2nd consecutive victory over the Yankees. The one prior to last night's win really turned his season around and got the Mets rolling on a Sunday night. Piazza strike 2. We gave you the reasons why the Yankees might consider a trade of Andy Pettitte. There are reasons on the other side as well. Here's a 27-year-old left-hander, 6'5", 225. Won 16 games a year ago, and he's won 2 games in the World Series. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner at second, 2 out. Piazza's jammed. It's still 1-2.
Andy Pettitte's biggest win in postseason, Game 5 of the 1996 World Series against the Atlanta Braves. Series tied 2 games apiece, and Andy Pettitte beating the Braves 1-0 in Atlanta. And then he won the clincher in San Diego last year.
Runner at second, Ricky Henderson. A ball and 2 strikes, and Piazza gets out of there. Yankees have already traded their other big left-hander. Big in stature and big in importance to this team a year ago. 125 total wins, a staff led by their stopper, so to speak, in their rotation, their big game winner, David Wells.
You bring up an interesting point, Joe, because David Wells, we talked about Andy Pettitte in postseason play. David Wells, 8-1 lifetime in postseason play. And I get your drift. What if the Yankees get to postseason play, and if they don't, it'll be a shocking surprise.
Brian Cashman, the general manager of the Yankees, you have to think playoffs with this Yankee team right now. I mean, you're not building this team for a pennant run. You're building this team for a run through the playoffs and a hopeful trip back to the World Series. The 1-2 to Piazza. That's foul. And you cannot downplay World Series victories by young pitchers.
No.
I mean, you would know better than I would. Those guys just don't come along very often.
Exactly right. What's the option? The option is to turn Andy Pettitte around for the second half of the season instead of trading him. Make him more effective. Along, of course, with his help.
Another 1-2 pitch to Piazza. A foul tip, and the inning continues. Take a look at Andy Pettitte. Most wins since 1996. Pedro Martinez #1 on that list. A big reason why he's jumped over Pettitte is because of the 15 wins here in 1999. But you throw Andy Pettitte's name in with that list, you're talking about a good young 27-year-old left-hander who, granted, is struggling over the past calendar year. Piazza steps out so we can drone on about this. July 14th a year ago. Since then, Pettitte's 9-13 with an ERA over 5.5. So this has been ongoing since before the start of this season. 1-2 the count. Runner at second, 2 out. Piazza's jammed again. That's backing out of play, and Mike is battling Andy Pettitte.
That great baseball saying, in his kitchen. They are getting in Mike Piazza's 4-car garage right here. That last one almost hit Mike in the thumbs.
Is that all he's got is a 4-car garage? 91 million?
maybe 6.
Runner at second, 2 out. Mets trail by a couple, first inning. Mike Piazza would like to change that. Henderson. Down to second, Piazza. It's a 2-1 Yankee lead.
That's one of the problems when you try to continue to pitch a hitter in one area. Fastball, inside, 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 jams it. Breaking ball. Another breaking ball. Now the fastball. Too much of the plate. That's the problem with Mike Piazza. You better make sure it's in.
What a battle, and now Benny Agbayani stands in with a chance to tie this game already with a base hit. Lays off that off-speed delivery. Agbayani was the big story around here. The first 27 games of his season, he hit .400 with 10 home runs, 17 RBIs in his last 18 games. He's hitting only a .173, no home runs. To give you the detail, first 27 games, 400, 17 RBIs. And in the last 18 games, he's driven in only 4. Up on the count here, however, 2 balls, no strikes. 3-0 from Pettit.
Tougher for a manager to allow a young hitter, a first-year player as Agbayani, to hit 3-0, and it is for a manager to allow an older, more experienced hitter to hit 3-0. We'll see what Bobby Valentine does here.
Swinging on 3-0, and he grounds to Jeter. That's automatic, getting over. And the Mets get only 1. A leadoff single by Henderson, a stolen base, and the 2-out RBI double by Mike Piazza. Action in the first after 1. 2-1 Yankees. 2-1 Yankees after 1. Second inning, first pitch to Ricky Leday is blown away for ball 1 from Rick Reed. Leday stands in, hitting .226. We haven't seen much of Leday since his World Series performance last season. He won 6 out of 10 with 4 RBIs.
That big hit with the bases loaded, the double off Kevin Brown down the right field line. Game 1.
That caught the corner, 2-1. Chad Curtis, part of that mix in left field. Shane Spencer, thankfully out of the hospital after being admitted with an irregular heartbeat. 3 balls and a strike on Leday.
We talked about Andy Pettit being a glaring problem for the Yankees. Well, left field has been a glaring problem. The left fielders for the Yankees this year have batted .200 on the season.
3 balls, 2 strikes in the catching position for a team as good as the Yankees.
Yeah.
They're down around the 200 mark.
202. We talked about it last week. The Atlanta Braves pitching staff has a higher batting average in the 9-hole than the Yankees left field position or their catchers.
And there's Leday striking out looking. Second strikeout for Reed. And that's the way we start here in the second. Joe Buck and Tim McCarver with you. This is a look at our little perch up here at Shea Stadium. And I don't know. Is this too much? That's the debate now. Is 6 games between the Yankees and the Mets within one season too much?
Being here today, it's hard to argue that 6 games between the Yankees and the Mets are too many games. I mean, just look what you have. Look at this. Listen to this.
Here's a strike to Posada.
Now, is it too much for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays and the Florida Marlins? Maybe, but not here.
1 out, nobody on. Posada took another strike, going 2. Posada hitting a .199 as we showed you, 7 home runs. Joe Girardi, his counterpart, behind the plate for the Yankees. The 0-2. Mike Piazza wearing catcher cam for us this afternoon. A look from catcher cam on 1 and 2. 2 gone. Back-to-back strikeouts. 3 in the game for Rick Reed. for a Budweiser game break. Back to Chris Myers in the Fox Network Center.
All right, Joe. Braves and Red Sox at Turner Field, top of the second. Mike Stanley, the former Yankee, with his 13th homer, and Andrew Jones goes to the wall and beyond, but that is gone for a 1-0 lead. It comes off Tom Glavine, and again, Nomar Garciaparra not in the lineup. Back to Joe Buckins in McCarver.
All right, Chris, thank you. Last night, as Pettit digs in, he pops it foul. Out of play for strike one. How about last night as you look at the Red Sox, only 3 games back behind the Yankees, getting a 2-inning performance from their new closer Tim Wakefield, who has done a tremendous job closing games for Jimmy Williams.
And the Yankees thinking the Red Sox just will not go away. Interesting situations developing, Joe. The 7th game in a row that Nomar Garciaparra has set out. What if he sits out tomorrow? Do you start him in the All-Star game? It's hard not to if he's healthy. I'm sure Joe Torre will rely on Jimmy Williams, the manager of the Red Sox, as to whether Nomar's healthy enough or not.
Rick Reed, can he strike out the side? We'll have to wait at least one more pitch as he doesn't get the outside corner. I mentioned at the start of the day, Andy Pettit 1 out of 7 in his career at the plate at the big league level. That hit came this year in June at Florida. Rick Reed strikes out the side. 4 on the afternoon. We sail into the bottom of the second. Ventura, Cedeno, Ordonez coming up. 2-1 Yankees.
Fox Saturday Baseball is brought to you by Oldsmobile, your local Oldsmobile dealers.
Welcome back to Shea Stadium. Andy Pettit gave up 2 hits in the first inning and included a 2-out RBI double to Mike Piazza. And it's a 2-1 Yankee lead after a first inning 2-run shot by Paul O'Neill. Ventura first up. Now, is this more Bobby Valentine stuff? Is this more trickery? Because all I read about Robin Ventura coming into this series, I would be surprised if he even plays at all. Not going to start. Well, he started last night. He played the whole game. He was busy over at third. He's playing today. He was hit by a pitch on his left foot during this past week. His big toe is bothering him, but here he is playing in back-to-back games and a day game after a night game. Couldn't have been that bad.
I don't think that Bobby really had anything to do. I think Bobby fully expected Robin Ventura to sit out the weekend, at least from the comments I read by Valentine this week. But I think Robin Ventura, being the type of player he is, just is gutting it out. Well, I took a look at the big toe on his left foot before the game, and it is nasty. Whew. Didn't foul it off the toe. He was hit on the toe. There's a big difference.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and Ventura pops it foul. That'll get back and out of play. Maybe I'm just starting to look for stuff now. That's it. You know, when you keep getting one story after another out of place, you start making stuff up on your own. Oh well. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Ventura leading off and taking ball 2. There's a baseball. There's a loose baseball on the field. And number 00, the bat boy, finds it behind the batter's box and whirls it into the crowd. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Ventura. Straightens up Robin. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
If this weren't so close to the All-Star break, I think Robin Ventura may have taken a couple of days off this weekend. But with the 3 days off on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, rest up there.
That is well hit into left. Back is Leday and near the track to pull it in. 1 down. We talked last week about Robin Ventura taking over that role, which, and you can argue this, at one point was held by Todd Hundley around here, is kind of the guts of this Mets team. And along those lines, you almost expect Ventura to play in this big of a series against the Yankees.
The Mets needed somebody. They have not really had a leader on this ball club. They've had talent during the 90s, but no leaders, with the exception of Todd Hundley.
Ball 1 down and into Roger Cedeno, number 7 in the league, hitting .331. John Franco is sitting and watching, as he will for the next 3 to 10 weeks. Out with the injury to the middle finger in his pitching hand, and there's the splint on that middle finger. 2 balls and a strike. A big loss for any team to lose your closer, but when it hits the Mets and you can tap Armando Benitez on the shoulder and say go get him, you lose depth in that bullpen. But I'm not so sure how much, if anything, you lose from the closer role. 3 balls and a strike on Roger Cedeno. Ray Ordonez next. A 1-out walk to the top base stealer in the major leagues right now. Ray Ordonez will not be going to the All-Star game, but here's an All-Star, Garciaparra, to talk about his defense.
You see guys all the time like that on the highlight reel. I mean, you see Ray, what he does is unbelievable. He makes unbelievable plays. It's fun to watch. It's pretty acrobatic and everything, and it's just fun to watch. Do you try to copy? Do you try to do it? Can you fair? No. You don't ever try to do that, but it's fun to see the way other people go about it and do it and be successful.
Nomar Garciaparra, who will be the starting shortstop for the American League on Tuesday night in Boston. That didn't take long. Cedeno running, and he steals second easily. Roger Cedeno now leads the major leagues with 44 stolen bases, and he didn't want to wait around for that very good Andy Pettitte pickoff.
Could very well be something that Ricky Henderson told Cedeno to look for off Andy Pettitte. The American League runners haven't picked anything off Andy, but perhaps Ricky Henderson has. And Cedeno with 1 out, in all likelihood, will try to steal third.
Oh, and 2 now on Ordonez. Talking about Nomar Garciaparra, at least for the last week or so, he has been linked in more ways than one with Derek Jeter, having a tremendous first half to this season. But he was overtaken in the fan voting thanks to internet votes that put Nomar Garciaparra in front of Jeter, put him in as the starter at Fenway Park. Cedeno at second, 1 out in the 0-2. Still 0-2.
Well, Ray Ordonez is a very, very good player. A spectacular shortstop, but he's no Derek Jeter.
He is no Nomar either.
No, nor is he Alex Rodriguez or an Omar Vizquel. They're too good of offensive players to be mentioned really in the same breath as Ray Ordonez, even though Ordonez, as we said, a better hitter this year, spectacular at short.
Cedeno stealing third on ball 1, and he steals it without a throw. What a weapon. What a weapon.
Three stolen bases by the Mets in the first inning and the third against the guy with the best pickoff move in baseball. No throw. This is an element that has really never been prevalent on a Mets ball club since their inception in 1962. The closest they have is the first base coach, Mookie Wilson.
Now the tying run at third, 1 out, infield in. The 1-2 to Ordonez is flied into left center field. That should tie it. Leday won't even look at Cedeno scoring the tying run. Andy Pettitte walked the wrong guy here in the second inning. So it's a 2-2 game. 2 out, nobody on. Ray Ordonez produces the run for Ordonez, RBI number 28. And Reed, a decent swing and a fly ball for Leday. The Mets got 1 in the first, get 1 in the second to tie. A 2-2 game into the third. Back to Shea after these messages from your local Fox station.
Saturday Baseball Game of the Week.
This next message will be brought to you by Stolen Bases Are Us. 1, 2, uncontested. Posada, no throw. All 3 bases in the first 2 innings stolen by the Mets. There has been no throw on any of them.
And now a strike to Knobloch, who leads it off. He bounced back to Reed in the first inning. Combination of Jorge Posada on your left, Roger Cedeno on your right. Cedeno won that battle uncontested. Knobloch 0 for 1, hitting .267 as he takes strike 2. And Reed could strike out his 4th consecutive hitter.
The elbow pad that Knobloch is wearing, the result of a ball that hit him on the left elbow in Tuesday night's game in Detroit. A lot of swelling there. Matter of fact, you can still see the seams of the ball that kind of stuck in there, hit by, I believe it was Todd Jones of the Detroit Tigers.
Still 0-2 as Knobloch fouled one away. Knobloch, a guy who in 1996 hit .341, drove in 72 runs and stole 45 bases. That just missed. Last year, his first year as a Yankee, Knobloch hit only .265. This year, at the moment, hitting .267. Yankee fans wondering what happened to the real Chuck Knobloch. He has yet to show up after that trade with the Twins. The 1-2 pitch. Little jam shot. Ordonez trying to lay back, and it goes right through him into center field. We'll wait and see how they rule that. Instead of trying to catch the ball on a line, he laid back to try to play it on a hop. And Knobloch is on to start the 3rd inning.
This is one of the oddest hits I've seen this year. Watch this ball cue away from Ordonez. He's caught in between, Joe. He thought the ball was hit harder than it really was. It's a jam shot. Usually you don't see a ball that jams a hitter go away from a fielder like that, go to the right. That was quirky.
And that was a base hit for Knobloch.
Should have been.
Instead of the 5th error of the year for Ordonez. Here's Bernie Williams, 1 on, nobody out. Williams an infield single his first time up, and he had a good view of Paul O'Neill's 9th home run of the year, which put the Yankees on top 2-0. The Mets have come back to tie, and now the Yankees have their leadoff man on here in the 3rd. One ball, one strike. Rick Reed, you're looking at a pitcher who came up with Pittsburgh in 1989. And he has bounced around, to say the least, finally finding success in the Mets uniform. Time called at the plate.
If you're thinking about a running situation, the one guy in the Yankees lineup that Joe Torre does not like to hit and run with is Bernie Williams. Now, Knobloch may run and Bernie may hit it, but generally speaking, it's not the designed hit and run.
Down and in, 2-1.
Get an idea from catcher cam how Mike Piazza has to move from one side of the plate to the other. Once again, Rick Reed has to be very fine to be successful. In and out to both right-handers and left-handers.
2 balls and a strike on Williams. See if the Yankees start the runner. Not going. They don't hit and run. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Typically, and I know that you differ on varying counts when different managers should hit and run or shouldn't. 2-1 is usually the hit and run situation.
Ideal, right.
With a guy like Williams who can handle the bat at the plate, and a guy who runs well, even though you don't have to run well for the hit and run.
Right.
In Knobloch at first. Now the count 2-2. Still not running on ball 3 inside to Williams.
He'll be running here. Obviously a different count with the count 3 balls and 2 strikes. You try to open things up a little bit. Reason that Joe Torre, by the way, does not like to hit and run with Bernie Williams. He gets a little anxious. Hits a lot of balls in the air on a hit and run that he doesn't normally hit in the air.
Now block goes. Williams pops it into the air. Into right. On Bayani back to get it. Then he staggers a bit. Makes the catch. 1 out. Back to first is Knobloch. That'll bring in O'Neill, who has already homered.
Just under it a little bit is Bernie Williams. That is a nano inch on the bat as to whether Bernie Williams hits a fly ball to right or a towering home run to right field.
So Bernie back to the dugout. 1 out of 2 now, and Paul O'Neill, 287 hitter, stands in. 289 now with that first inning home run. And a strike. Hits the outside corner from Rick Reed. I was talking about Reed, guy who came up with the Pirates in 1989, released. Signed by Kansas City, released. Signed by Texas in 93, released. Signed by Cincinnati in 94, released. Signed by the Mets as a 6-year minor league free agent November of 1995. He has signed 2 more Met contracts since then. And he is signed through this year. The 0-1 to O'Neill. Popped up left side. Ordonez out to get it. Staggers a bit as well, but pulls it in. 2 gone. Derek Jeter walks in and will give you the final results of this year's All-Star balloting, brought to you by Pepsi. And we start with the American League. Ken Griffey Jr., the leading vote getter yet again. And it's Nomar Garciaparra, thanks to the internet, at short instead of the man at the plate right now, joined by all of those Indians, 4 of them. Ramirez, Lofton, Alomar, Tomey. Canseco is the DH, and this is the first year they've put a DH spot on that ballot. Cal Ripken is at third, and Ivan Rodriguez of the Rangers. The top catcher is going to start. Justice served there. Jeter fouls it back. Take a look at the National League, and you start to think, you know, they say, well, maybe you should take the vote away from the fans, which I think is an enormous mistake if that were to happen. But you start to look at these names and you say, well, where are the problems? I mean, Matt Williams deserves to be there. Larkin deserves to be there. Jay Bell deserves to be there. He's driven in over 60 runs. Mark McGwire for obvious reasons. Walker, Sosa, Gwynn in the outfield. Piazza catching. You can always argue with selections to an all-star team. Knobloch is running. The throw by Piazza. Got it. Inning over. Mike Piazza hit a 3-run home run for the Mets last night. It won the game. He's driven in a run today with a 2-out RBI double in the first, and he guns down Knobloch to end the top of the third. Ricky Henderson first up for the Mets in the third inning, a 2-2 game. Back to work is Andy Pettitte. Henderson has already singled, stolen a base, and scored a run, and he takes a ball high from Pettitte. Up over 300. Pretty good swing, 1 ball, 1 strike.
3 weeks ago, Ricky Henderson was batting .233 with about 150 at bats, so you know how far he's come in a very short time.
You're talking about 2 weapons in your lineup, and Ricky Henderson is still one. The other is Cedeno, who has stolen 45 bases now, 2 in this game. As Henderson's up on the count here, 2 balls and a strike. We're looking right there at one of the best in the business at holding runners close at first base, and Posada hasn't had a chance to throw on 3 steals. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Alfonso and Olrud will follow here in the third for the Mets. Balls, 2 strikes. Both teams participating in this game, I'm sure, could be guilty of scoreboard watching here this afternoon. Henderson takes ball 4, a leadoff walk.
Some guys get the green light from the first base coach. Listen to Jose Cardinal, the first base coach of the Yankees.
Anytime you got a jump, go. Anytime.
Chuck Knobloch taking him literally, trying to steal on the next pitch. A very quick tag by Ray Ordonez, shown better from this angle. And then catcher Cam gets congratulations from the Mets.
What dreams may come, like a odd dream sequence. I'm sure you've had that a few times as you've laid your little head down to sleep, going back to the dugout. Guys with their hands out. Nice throw, Timmy.
Nice going, Timmy. All right. All right, Timmy.
Well, Piazza hasn't done that very much this season, and he has really stepped up. I started to talk going to break at the kind of series he's already putting together. There's that good look over to first. There it is.
I never had a chance to do that because I never wore catcher cam. Mike wants to keep it on. He'll probably wear it home today after the game.
Right? Now that would be interesting. That would be interesting video. 1 on, nobody out. Somehow it feels like it would fit.
Yeah, 4-car garage cam.
Yeah. 1 ball, no strikes on Edgardo Alfonzo after Pettit walked Henderson to lead off this third. Talking about scoreboard watching, the New York Mets, I'm sure, keeping an eye on that game in Atlanta. The Boston Red Sox lead over the Braves 1-0 in the 4th inning, which Chris Myers, I'm sure, will update us on throughout the afternoon. And both teams here are interested in that game. Boston 3 games back of the Yankees at the start of the day, and the Mets now only 4 games down behind Atlanta in the National League East. And they get to look at it all afternoon. Top of the out-of-town scoreboard here at Shea. The 1-1 pitch to Alfonzo. And Henderson has no problems picking up that move by Pettit. Getting stronger this season. Tim already told you, with a jump up in batting average. Home runs about the same. RBIs are up. Stolen bases are up. And that would only figure because he gets more opportunities with a better batting average. A 1-1. Pass foul. Strike 2.
Ricky Henderson this year now with 23 stolen bases, 1,320 for his career. We figured it out last week and failed to tell you that that's about 22.5 miles. 1,320 stolen bases times 30. Those are the yards required in a mile. What, 1,760 yards in a mile, I think. Well, we talked about it last week. Really?
Alfonzo stays at the plate.
We figured it out. It was 1,760. And you came up with the feet, right? It's 5,280 feet. Isn't that right?
Yes.
1,760 yards.
Okay.
So you take it 30 times 1,320, and that gives you the yards. Then you know what I mean. Then you divide that by 3, or you could take it 90. You know, but anyway, it's 22.5 miles.
4 score and 7 years ago. They have Henderson picked off first. So much for getting a good read on Pettit. He finally gets one in this game as the Mets lose their first on the base paths. Now 1 out of 4 are the Yankees in cutting down base stealers, and Pettit picks off his 5th of the year.
Now, he certainly didn't get Andy Pettit's move there. Just continuing to second base instead of trying to get caught in a rundown. Experienced base runner like that, realizing he's going to be dead anyway.
Alfonzo lays off. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
5th pickoff of the year for Andy Pettit.
Bob Davidson, who is umpiring a series out in San Francisco, I'm sure gets a little tingle when he hears about the possibilities of Andy Pettit getting traded, hoping he will be traded to the National League as Alfonzo floats one into right center for Bernie Williams. Bob Davidson, known as balking Bob Davidson, and if anybody pushes the rule to its extremes any more than Pettit, I haven't seen him yet.
Usually, a balk move that is good is a balk. In the American League, umpires seem to be much more liberal in calling balks than they do in the National League. If Andy Pettit pitched in the National League, he'd have minimum 10 balks a year called against him.
So Andy Pettit took care of Henderson for the first out. Alfonso flied out. Now the 1-0 pitch to Olrud. Broke his bat his first time and grounded out to third is ball 2, 2-0. Mike Piazza, who has driven in a run with a double, waits on deck. 3-0. Olrud. I know what you're going to say.
What?
I know what you're going to say.
That he will hit 3-0 even though a left-hander's out there. No?
No. 2 out, nobody on. The 3-0 is low for ball 4. What I was going to say is that he has now reached in 84 of the 88 games in which he has appeared. Talk about that in a moment. We would like to welcome those of you watching other games on the Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week. Welcome to Shea Stadium. Jam-packed Shea Stadium. And welcome to the second at bat of the afternoon for Piazza. He's already doubled home run with 2 outs. He did that in the first. It's a 2-2 game. 1 on, 2 out. And Piazza grounds to third. Brocious the easy way. The force out to end the inning. Will finish on Olrud in the fourth. Going there, the Yankees and Mets are tied 2-2. It's a 2-2 game into the fourth inning. Yankees will have Jeter, Martinez, and Brocious. Good pitch from Reed, strike 1. Mel Stottlemyre has been working hard with Andy Pettit between starts to try to get things ironed out. And as you said at the top of the day, probably the top priority for Pettit is to get confidence in that changeup again. Broken bat, ground ball to Ventura. Leadoff man is gone. Jeter's 0 for 2 for a Budweiser game break. Back to Chris Myers in the Fox Network Center.
All right, Joe, interleague special. Red Sox and Braves, fourth inning, 2 out. Portugal pitching to Andrew Jones. He hammers this, and what's the catch by the fan? That deserves a wow. 16th home run of the year for Jones. Stanley hit 1 out earlier. We're tied at 1 in the 5th. Back to Joe and Shea.
All right, Chris, I knew we'd get an update on that game, a game that these two teams are very interested in. Tino Martinez now, who has walked, will dig in with 1 out, nobody on. 2-2 game, fourth inning. Strike from Reed.
In back-to-back at-bats by Derek Jeter, that's the worst I've seen him look this year in back-to-back at-bats. 3 straight strikes, a swing and a miss the first time up, and jammed by Rick Reed the last time up after swinging and missing at the first pitch.
That one missed up and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Right back up the middle. Reed got a glove on it. So does Ordonez. Got him. What a play. 1-6-3.
Natural speed. Slow-mo. Another dazzler.
We always talk to him about how quickly he can get rid of the ball. Rarely do people talk about how strong his arm is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a very, very good point.
Sure, he can get rid of it probably quicker than anyone, and you always think of Vizquel when you say anything about some of these plays that Ordonez makes.
Well, when you take that play and you think about all he had to do. He caught the ball with the glove, obviously. He catches it barehanded occasionally like Vizquel. but then he went to the ground, had to come up and take the ball out of the glove. A lot of times shortstops can't make that play, or anybody in the infield, because when they go to the ground jars the ball loose. The ground causes the fumble.
Ozzie Smith for years went to the All-Star game because of defense, and you would have to think that shortly that will be true for Ray Ordonez, whose career has patterned Ozzie's, and that he came in all glove, no hit, and slowly but surely he's getting to become a threat at the plate as well. 2 out, nobody on. Brocious on 2-1, pops it up. Shallow center, out goes Ordonez. Who else to end this inning? Ray Ordonez on the pop-up. That was easy. This was not. To his left, the diving stop, pop up and throw, and the Yankees go in order in the 4th.
Watch how far Ray Ordonez ranges to his left on that ball hit by Martinez. How many shortstops can get that far to make the play? Some can get that far to make the play, but not to get an out call.
There's a strike from Andy Pettit to Benny Agbayani, underway in the bottom of the 4th inning of a 2-2 game. Reaction from Tino Martinez. Got to be like, are you kidding me? Bad hop and a base hit for Agbayani. Brocious happy he wasn't in front of that, or he would have lost some teeth. That was a terrible hop that shot past his ear into left.
Benny Agbayani, growing up about 2 miles from Aloha Stadium, says aloha to a bad hop over the head of Scott Brocious. Aloha Stadium in Honolulu, where they play the Pro Bowl and the Aloha Bowl. University, yeah, right. Good place to play the Aloha Bowl.
1 on, nobody out. Robin Ventura into left center field. Carrying well. Leday on the run at the track. Didn't play it well. Agbayani will head to third. They bring Agbayani to the plate, and the Mets take a 3-2 lead here in the 4th.
Not an excuse for Ricky Leday. Willie Mays told me that playing the outfield here at Shea is tougher than playing the outfield at Candlestick Park. The swirling wind and the Mets, after the bad hop single, score a run on a misplayed ball in left field.
There's a bunt to third. Brocious with a barehanded pickup, and he still has time to get Cedeno. Over to third is Ventura. 1 out now. Here is another look at that play by Leday without the Candlestick Park fog effect.
Well, if Ricky Leday is a right-handed thrower, he has a much easier play. But he went after that ball like he was totally confused. I mean, totally confused. Ball hopping over Bernie Williams' head. Robin Ventura would have had a triple were it not for his sore big toe on his left foot. Good squeeze situation. The Mets tried one last night and failed with Ordonez.
Ordonez pops it into right. Do you try it with a pitcher coming up?
Nope.
Ventura's coming to the plate. Safe as he got around the tag. And it's 4-2 Mets here in the 4th. And it's time to argue.
I think the Yankees have to argue at both ends. You argue at third, number 1, to see if Ventura left too early. Ventura had to cheat someplace, but Posada's not blocking the plate. This is a problem. A great call, by the way, by Jeff Kellogg, the home plate umpire. A fine slide by Ventura, because by the time the tag is made, the foot's on the plate. But you got to block the plate. I mean, who's going to knock you over with the sore big toe on the left foot? Posada's inside the line. You got to straddle the line. I think the Yankees ought to appeal this play at third base, and it appears they're going to do that.
And they call him safe. Ventura left on time. I think only because the pitcher was coming up do they try to score the runner.
Great call, Joe. I didn't think with Ventura's bad toe that he'd try it, but he tried it and made it.
Looked like he was swimming upstream as he came down the third baseline. But it is a lost art, and you would know better than anyone blocking the plate, and I give Jeff Kellogg, the home plate umpire,
absolutely
a world of credit. That's foul, which gives us a moment to talk about umpires. You know, we're always there to pick on a call when it's obvious on replay after replay that an umpire got it wrong. Well, an umpire just got it right. We did a game 2 weeks ago in St. Louis when the home plate umpire called Bobby Bonilla out on a play at the plate, a game the Mets eventually lost when he was clearly in before the tag. It's usually a case of an umpire giving the fielder the benefit of the doubt when the ball beats the runner. Well, the ball beat the runner there by 20, but Kellogg still called the play and called it properly. Jeff Kellogg got the call right. The Mets get 2 in the 4th. This, the 4th run of the afternoon. Ventura in around the tag for 2 Mets. Robin Ventura with terrific base running. Maybe not terrific base running, but an outstanding slide to get around this tag.
And a poor play by Jorge Posada. That's your blind side. That is the reason that catchers have more problems receiving a throw from right field. But if he's blocking the plate, he doesn't have to reach for the tag. When you block the plate, the runner in effect gets himself out. There's no reaching involved.
There was a chance for Jorge Posada, who has stunned the Yankees with how poor his defense has been this season, to make a play on Ventura, and he did not get in front of the runner.
Particularly when he's on his knees. Now he has to reach for the tag. He has to make the high tag, and the great slide by Ventura. Not only did he not block the plate, but Ventura went for that exposed part of the plate, and that's why he was safe. It's the sign of the times, though, Joe. How many times do you see catchers block the plate now? There are all these slap tags. Not only Jorge Posada, but a ton of guys trying to make that slap tag.
Sammy Sosa's coming up. Cubs at White Sox. Let's listen in.
We'd like to welcome those of you watching the Yankees and the Mets going at it today here in Chicago. Sammy Sosa has struck out twice against a guy he used to locker across from in the Chicago Cubs clubhouse. Jamie Navarro's on the mound today. And Navarro was touched up for a couple of unearned runs back in the 3rd. It is 4-0 overall right now. The Cubs have the lead. We are in the top of the 5th. Nobody on. And 2 men out. That slider's been very good from Jamie Navarro. He's been kind of darting it towards the outside of the plate on Sosa all afternoon.
What I used to do when a pitcher was giving me this kind of problem away, Josh or Ian, when I would come up to hit the next time, I would sneak up there and put the foot a little closer to home plate, rather than and protect that outside plate or part of the plate a little bit more.
Navarro trying to hug the fastball along the inside corner, couldn't quite get it there. 1-1.
That was just to keep me on his pitch right there, to keep Sammy from diving out there and looking out there and saying, hey, I'll come inside on you also.
Field out of play, 1-2. Of course, Sammy Sosa last year joining Hack Wilson, Jimmy Fox, and a guy named Babe Ruth as the only players ever with a 50-homer, 150 RBI season. Those guys didn't get to light the White House Christmas tree. They did not sit next to the First Lady during the State of the Union address.
Wasn't fashionable then.
Tipped out of play, still 1-2.
I just can't. I don't understand not making that little adjustment. It's not a big adjustment. You're talking about 3 or 4 inches with the back foot a little closer to home plate. That's like 8 inches of more coverage of the outside part of the plate. then you'd be able to take your normal swing and drive that ball to right field.
Here's Navarro's 1-2. It's up too high.
Believe me, all you have to do is hit a couple of those successfully, and then you start to get pitches in the inner part of the plate that you can pull.
Well, Sosa today, Frank, he's taken 8 rips. 8 swings at the plate today. 4 foul balls, and 4 times he's come up empty.
Well, everything's away. Here we go again.
And up too high. Sammy Sosa takes it full. Cubs 4, White Sox nothing.
That wouldn't have been my fast side on fastball there in that situation. That would have been the slider. Looked like it's going to be on the outside part of the plate and break just a little off. And I'm sure Sammy would have been swinging it. Now you have to make a pitch near the strike zone, else he goes to first base.
And for those of you watching in New York, the home run is falling there. Lede and Posada back-to-back. They're tied at 4. Sosa down on strikes for the 3rd time today.
Well, there's the trifecta. Sosa strikes out, and we missed a couple of home runs as Ricky Lede went deep into right. Jorge Posada went deep into left center field. And that combination, which helped give the Mets the lead. Lede missed playing that double. Posada not walking the plate as Ventura came home on the sac fly by Ordonez. They go back to back to start this 5th inning and tie this game at 4.
Ricky and Jorge give it, and they take it away. Arguably, giving 2 runs to the Mets, that might be a little harsh. Certainly they had something to do with it in the bottom of the 4th and getting them back quickly in the 5th.
So Rick Reed couldn't stand prosperity. The Mets had their first lead of the afternoon, and it's gone in about 4 minutes. A home run by Lede deep into right. A home run by Posada, even more impressive, the opposite way into the back of the bleachers in left center. Had it grounded out. Now 1 out, nobody on. 1 ball, 1 strike on Knobloch, who's 1 out of 2. Breaking ball, and Chuck lays off. 2 balls and a strike. A 5-2 win here last night for the Mets, and so far today, those who have packed into Shea Stadium are getting all the action they want in the first 5 innings. Knobloch yanks it foul. And all of a sudden, Rick Reed is looking awfully hittable. That ball was smoked.
Did you catch the rhythm of that yell right below us?
Yeah.
Let's go Yankees, let's go Mets. Choreographed perfectly.
1 out, nobody on. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
No stadium can back at you like the fans in this stadium today.
The 2-2 from Rick Reed. A little high. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Two strikes, and Knobloch fouls it right side. Action for the Mets out in their bullpen. Left-hander Rigo Beltran, right-hander Pat Mahomes. And Rick Reed, he's hit a wall here in the 5th inning. Knobloch, tough play. Ordonez, backhand, throw, got it. Time after time, he dazzles you. Full-size home runs. One by Ricky Lede. This blast into right. That made it a 1-run game. And then the very next hitter, Jorge Posada, the opposite way. And he could stand and admire as that hit the back of the bleachers out in left center field. That was hit a long way, the opposite way, off the bat of Posada. For the Yankees, 3rd time they've gone back-to-back this season as Bernie Williams takes a strike. The Yankees have hit 3 home runs today. They have hit 96 home runs on the year. The Mets, by contrast, in case you're wondering, have hit 102. Chris Chambliss, the hitting coach for Joe Torre and the Yankees. Watching as Williams takes 1 ball, 1 strike now. Yankees tied for 8th in the league with a team average of 277.
One of the remarkable things about the 1998 season, the Yankees won 114 regular season games without a 30 home run hitter.
Joe Torre in his 4th season as the skipper of these Yankees. 2 world championships in his first 3 seasons. Now 2-1 on Bernie Williams.
So Mark McGwire last year had over 40 home runs more than the highest Yankee total, and yet the Yankees win 114 games.
They made it look easy in doing it.
Yeah. Both of them, the Yankees and Mark.
The 2-1 to Williams. Big swing by Bernie. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's like Jorge Posada's brother.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, nobody on. Bernie Williams facing Rick Reed. That's one of that pitch, didn't get it. Now a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Top of the order will bat for the Mets in the bottom of this 5th. A 2-run lead for New York. The New York Mets gone. Back-to-back home runs, Leday and Posada. Too long of a look in, and Williams steps out. Now the 3-2 pitch. He walked him on a pitch down and in. Second walk handed out by Rick Reed this afternoon. Now you've got Paul O'Neill coming up. You've got the left-hander Rigo Beltran ready in your bullpen, and you have your pitching coach Dave Wallace walk out. Will he make the change or not? Beltran, who features a screwball, is ready in the bullpen, but they're going to stick with Reed and try to get him through this 5th inning. Well, are you going to win the Nissan Frontier Crew Cab, the compact pickup truck with 4 real front hinge doors? See if you're eligible to win by logging on to foxsports.com and checking your answers. Winners of the Nissan All-Star Drive to Boston sweepstakes will be announced live during the All-Star game on Tuesday. Right here on Fox. Here's Paul O'Neill. 1 out of 2. Go ahead run at first for the Yankees with 2 out here in the 5th. Ball low from Reed. It would be a bonus for Reed to get through this 5th inning, set himself up at least for the chance for a victory. His teammates can get something done in the bottom of the 5th, and again they'll have the top of the order up. A 1-0 to O'Neill is low, but if you're the Mets, such an important game, and I've already stated this is a more important game for the Mets than it is for the Yankees. You can't let personal achievement, meaning Reed getting 5 innings under his belt, outweigh the importance of getting a fresh pitcher in there to close out this top of the 5th. Those are the decisions to be made in that dugout by the man we just showed you, Bobby Valentine. Two balls, no strikes on O'Neill. Now 3-0. A 4-4 game. Reed has just walked Bernie Williams, and he's 3-0 on O'Neill. Is he?
Yes, I would think so. But again, a guy could be hitting 3-0 and take a strike. The reason for that, once again, is that the strike may not be in his area. So if you're a pitcher, go away with the strike, not inside.
That caught the outside corner, so Reed did just that. 3 balls and a strike. Don't forget who's hitting cleanup for the Yankees for the first time, Derek Jeter. He's 0 for 2 and on deck. The 2 guys who have tied it, Leday and Posada. Runner goes on 3-1. That's strike 2 called, and out at second to end the top of the 5th. It's Bernie Williams. Mike Piazza has caught 2 trying to steal here this afternoon. He got Knobloch in the 3rd. He gets Williams in the 5th. But damage done by the Yankees. Home run by Leday. Home run by Posada. Halfway through it, game 2 of this 3-game set. It's a 4-4 game at Shea.
Baseball is brought to you by AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco, if you're not asking for it, you're asking for it. By K-Swiss Athletic Footwear and Apparel. By Pepsi, the thrill of Star Wars Episode 1 and the joy of cola. And by Progressive Auto Insurance, with a new way to quote and buy at Progressive.com.
Welcome back to Queens, Flushing, New York. And Shea Stadium as Andy Pettitte heads back to the hill. Bottom of the 5th inning. He didn't like the way he started. So a start and stop, and here we go. Bottom of the 5th. It's a 4-4 game, and the top of the order will bat for the Mets. Ricky Henderson, Edgardo Alfonzo, and Olru. Ball from Pettitte. Strike. Ball boy was robbed by that young man. Good play down the line. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Ricky Henderson. He has singled, stolen a base, scored a run. He has walked and been caught stealing. Good breaking ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes from Pettitte.
That's the best curveball Andy Pettitte has broken off all afternoon. That would be another thing that would aid and abet that cutter inside.
With a watchful eye of Mel Stottlemyre on 1 and 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Yankees have out-hit the Mets 5-4. No errors in this game. Henderson led off in the 1st and the 3rd. He does so here in the 5th, and he lines one up the middle for a base hit. Ricky Henderson on base for the 3rd time today.
That's just a fine piece of hitting by Ricky Henderson. That is a tough pitch right there. But however, you can see Posada sitting inside and watch him go to his right in case Henderson swings through it. But Andy Pettitte missed his location then by about 9 inches. But good hitting by Henderson.
Here's that matchup again with Pettitte on the mound and Henderson on at first. Ricky may think twice now. It looked like he was reading the move easily. He stole second standing up, or at least without a throw, back in the 1st inning. But then left too soon, and Pettitte picked him off. It'll go down as a caught stealing 1-3-6 in the 3rd. So another battle between these two. The 1-0 count on Alfonzo at the plate.
All great base stealers, when they're picked off, they're more determined to steal the next time they get on. Lou Brock was like that. Ricky Henderson's like that.
That caught the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike on Alfonso, who struck out and flied out. Edgardo Alfonso, another one of the New York Mets. Could have made a strong case for him being a part of the National League's All-Star team. Strike 2 on Alfonso, who's number 7 in the National League with 101 hits coming in. And he's driven in 54 runs from the number 2 spot in this Mets lineup, which is number 2 in the National League to Jay Bell, who's knocked in 61, hitting second for the Diamondbacks. On top of that, he's committed only 2 errors in his first year at second base in the big leagues.
How about that lead that Ricky Henderson just took? Almost a sprinter's lead. How many times do you see a base runner get off of first base and face second instead of facing the pitcher? He wasn't squared off. Talking about giving Andy Pettitte a lot of different looks over there. Look at this.
He draws a throw.
Taunting Andy Pettitte right now, or trying to.
And if nothing else, maybe not to steal a bag, but to give Pettitte one more thing to think about as he works to Alfonso.
Yep.
Time called at the plate before the pitch.
The guy in uniform this afternoon, who is the all-time stolen base leader for the New York Yankees, is in a Met uniform. Ricky Henderson.
Yankee outfielder between 1985 and 1989. 326 stolen bases. Traded to Oakland in June of '89. Same lead for Henderson. And Alfonso bloops one into left. Late break by Leday, but he's there for out number 1. Let's take a look at this afternoon's AC Delco game summary. Paul O'Neill hit a 2-run shot in the first inning. Mike Piazza dug into the lead for the Mets in the first. Roger Cedeno 2 steals. Those came in the third. He scored on a sac fly to tie the game. Ordonez with those 2 sacrifice flies. One of them scored Robin Ventura, which made it a 4-2 game in the fourth. But in the fifth, back-to-back, Ricky Leday and Jorge Posada solo shots to tie it at 4. 1 on, 1 out, and Olerud takes a strike. So the 2 steals and the sac fly for Ordonez was in the third. That all actually transpired in the second. And it was 2-2 after 2. The Mets had a short-lived 4-2 lead. Could you imagine if the Yankee first baseman held runners on the way the Mets first baseman hold runners on with a guy like Pettitte on the mound? First baseman would have no idea which way to go. Olerud, the man who does that for the Mets at the plate, takes a ball, 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's where John Olerud plays off the bag at first base and occasionally will break back to his left, back to the first base bag. You do it with a guy like Andy Pettitte, though.
It's funny, Olerud has to be as good at reading pickoff moves as Henderson or Cedeno.
Sure, right.
Yet Olerud is a guy, as Posada makes a good play on a ball in the dirt, who has stolen only 1 base. Because of his speed, he can't use that knowledge on the other side of the game for the Mets.
That's why John's on-base percentage is a little murky and really misrepresented. He's second in the National League as far as on-base percentage is concerned. Derek Jeter's second in the American League on-base percentage. There's a lot of difference, however, when those guys get on first base. Jeter, a great base runner, not so Olerud.
2-1. Olerud takes ball 3 high. 3-1 with Piazza next. And now action for the Yankees out in their bullpen as Ramiro Mendoza gets ready. He is such a valuable component to this Yankee team. Pettit now trying to get through 5 innings. 1 on, 1 out. Allroot on 3-1, hits it down the left field line, slicing into the corner. That's a foul ball. And the count full.
Joe, you mentioned Ramiro Mendoza, and a lot of people are saying, well, if the Yankees trade Andy Pettit, then you can always insert Ramiro Mendoza into the starting rotation. He has about 10 starts this year. But I think those that advocate that forget how valuable Mendoza is in the bullpen. He has not been pitching well lately. He had a great start. Last 3 weeks, he has not pitched well. But if you lose him from the bullpen, put him in the starting rotation, then their bullpen suffers greatly.
Anderson a late break back to the bag. You would think if there was a deal involving Pettit, some bullpen help would have to come back the other way.
That's right.
If not another starter, because if you take Mendoza out of that bullpen, and you're looking at Stanton, Erdos, Grimsley, Nolte.
Yep.
With the injured Jeff Nelson trying to set up Rivera, that is not a good bullpen. Runner goes as Allroot hits it foul down the first baseline. Henderson was on the move, but he'll have to come back as the count stays full on Allroot.
I think Ricky was smiling because shortstop Derek Jeter trying to make Ricky Henderson go for the decoy. With that ball grounded behind the base runner, a lot of times the base runner will have to depend on the shortstop and second baseman to show him where the ball is, and that's the wrong thing to do.
Go to first and Henderson back.
I can't believe that the Yankees have Jeter that close to second base, and Knobloch swung way around toward the hole at first. Allroot did pull a ball, but Allroot can hit a ball to the left side at least as well, and sometimes better against left-handers than he can pull it.
Henderson goes as Allroot grounds to second. Knobloch with that flip throw over to first, and that was not an easy play for Knobloch, as both the ball and Henderson got to Chuck at about the same time, but Knobloch picked it up. Doesn't get much on that throw as he struggles with a throwing arm, but he got it to first in plenty of time.
Maligned for his defense. It looked like Ricky Henderson was timing it to arrive when the ball did. That's just smart base running. Jumping over it. Looked like Chuck thought about perhaps making a tag of Henderson, but it was a good play on a difficult play.
An intentional pass being handed to Mike Piazza, with Benny Agbayani next. This is one of the easier decisions Joe Torre will have to make
I was thinking
in the 1999 year.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer right here. Certainly nothing against Benny Agbayani. But Mike Piazza in the first inning, after a bevy of fastballs inside, 3-run home run last night, he has caught 3 base stealers in 1.5 games, 2 this afternoon. He had that big double driving in run number 53 in the first inning.
And now it's up to Agbayani. We'll see if he faces Pettit or if they go to the bullpen. Guess they'll let Pettit try to get through 5. Same way the Mets let Reed get through 5. But there isn't much left on this leash. 2 on, 2 out. Agbayani, 1 out of 2 this afternoon. And a strike from Andy Pettit. Anderson a leadoff single. He's at second with 2 out. Piazza drew the intentional walk. Strike 2 in a hurry on Agbayani.
One thing Andy does not want to do now, and I'm sure Posada is aware of it, is throw Agbayani a strike. Try to expand the strike zone and make him swing at strike 3.
The 0-2. rip foul down the line.
That's a mistake right there. There are so many times you look back over a 9-inning game and you look at the mistakes that a pitcher got away with. How many balls were fouled back on mistakes? See, this ball has too much of the strike zone. It's too good a pitch with the count no balls and 2 strikes. You have to go lower than low in order to entice Agbayani.
Again, the 0-2. There's one down and in, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And you have the luxury of doing it 2 more times. The count's only 1-2. Play on the fact that the hitter is a rookie and not an experienced hitter. More inclined to go after a bad pitch with 2 strikes.
Pettit got it. His 3rd strikeout of the day, and Agbayani chased one out of the strike zone. We have played 5 here at Shea. Mets, Yankees, 4-4. New pitcher for the Mets. It's Greg McMichael as we move to the 6th inning in a 4-4 game. McMichael will work to O'Neill, Jeter, and Martinez. Reed is finished after going 5 innings, allowing 4 runs on 5 hits.
Greg McMichael, after having 2 tenures with the New York Mets last year, he went to the Dodgers, then he came back in the Brian Bohannon trade, was activated from the disabled list on June the 11th. So he started the first 2.5 months on the DL. He appears to be fine right now. 1 changeup after another. A guy who almost literally changes off the change.
Paul O'Neill first up for the Yankees. He is homered, popped up, facing McMichael for the first time. He's out in front. Strike 1. Back in the 1st inning, no doubt about this shot after an infield hit by Williams. Sounded good, looked even better. And Paul O'Neill hit number 9. Made it 2-0 Yankees, but the Mets came right back. 1 point led 4-2, the Mets did, but now it's a 4-4 game. Well hit down the right field line. That's his 2nd of the day. And the Yankees are back out in front 5-4.
Down and in, what a sin to Paul O'Neill. Lethal on that pitch. Where was it? Wow. All that left-handed batter does is drop the bat head down on it. And that's what Paul did. Boy, did he hit that ball a ton.
O'Neill puts the Yankees back up by 1. And now Derek Jeter, who's 0 for 2. Deals with McMichael. Off the end of the bat, into left. Ricky Henderson, 1 away. Talk about how a home run sounds. Let's listen to that shot by Paul O'Neill. When they sound like that, it's not a matter of if, it's just how far.
Home runs hit that far have that crisp click to it. There's no splat involved. Click.
One out, nobody on, and Tino Martinez takes a strike from McMichael. So the Mets go to the bullpen, this much heralded bullpen, for good reason. And the first hitter that McMichael faces takes him out of the park. There's a changeup, 0-2 on Tino Martinez. McMichael, former property of the Cleveland Indians, made his name in the big leagues with the Atlanta Braves. Martino just able to get a piece of that. If a guy is a changeup artist, as you look at his pitching coach Dave Wallace, if he is a changeup artist and he is successful, you also know that he has the ability to keep the ball down.
Has to. That's right. Particularly the changeup. You can get away with fastballs, even some breaking balls if they're hard sliders. Up, not changeups.
That's hooked down the right field line. It will curve foul. We showed you Dave Wallace. He's in charge of this Mets pitching staff now, and here are his thoughts on handling that Mets bullpen.
You want to keep that bullpen strong, and you want to keep them healthy. And to do that, once in a while, you can't be going to them every night. You've got to get your starters to go 7, 8, 9 innings, a couple complete games, and it's almost unheard of anymore. You know, that's why. So it's a 6-inning game on occasion, but we do need the guys to step up a little bit, and they know it.
That formula worked last night with Al Leiter. Al Leiter's so good in the start for the Mets. And really, when you talk about this Mets turnaround, Tim, 22-10 in their last 32 from that June 6th date, that night game at Yankee Stadium. Big reason why they've turned it around. Their starters are 17-5 over that stretch. The 1-2 pitch up the middle, base hit. They had Alfonso so far over in the hole, and Martinez shot one back through the middle for a 1-out single. It's now time for the American General Season 2 Remember question. In what year did the late Joe DiMaggio play in his first All-Star game?
We're eliminated because we know the answer.
We do know the answer. We won't even stumble around faking guesses like we don't know.
No.
We'll let you think about it. 1 on, 1 out for Scott Brocious. Changeup's low for ball 1. One ball, no strikes. That's up 2-0. So McMichael does not have his good stuff here in his first inning of work.
See, that's one of the problems when you change off a changeup. The very definition of the word change means you're changing from something. If you continue to throw a change, it's all it becomes is a slower pitch, not a change.
The 2-0 to Brocious. That is smoked foul. These guys are getting their rips against McMichael.
Again, a change is meant to deceive the hitter. And when you continue to throw it, the deception leads.
McMichael for a while closed games for the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, had 31 year.
Doug Jones, long time in the American League, is a closer whose primary pitch was the changeup, but it's rare. 2 balls and a strike. Tino Martinez takes off on a base hit into left field. Martinez will stop at second. 2 on, 1 out. Back-to-back singles by Martinez and Brocious. The lefty Leday coming up. I wouldn't expect to see McMichael hang around too much longer.
Now with Rico Beltran ready in the Mets bullpen, and that is exactly who is coming in the game.
Well, right now McMichael is on the hook. He came in, gave up a home run to Paul O'Neill leading off after Jeter flied to left. Back-to-back singles by Martinez and Brocious. Rigo Beltran will enter. Yankees lead by 1. Ricky Leday will be lifted here for a pinch hitter in the 6th inning. You look at the day for Ricky. Misplayed that ball hit by Robin Ventura back in the 4th inning, but boy, did he make up for it with this swing and this shot over the wall and right to make it a 1-run game at the time. A home run by Posada followed to tie it. Now here in the 6th inning, a leadoff home run by Paul O'Neill. 2 hits after 1 was out, and Rigo Beltran takes over, the lefty, to deal with Chad Curtis, who pinch hits for Leday.
So you have McMichael leaving with a good changeup, and Beltran coming in with a good screwball.
Runners on at first and second, one out. Yankees leading 5-4. That's foul. Get the jump on home run derby here.
Yeah, I don't think Chad's going to see that pitch again. That was a slider down and in. Remember, we talked about Paul O'Neill. First time up, he hit the slider in. And sometimes your setup pitches, you don't get that far in the count. You get hurt on the balls that you're trying to set a hitter up with. That pitch was designed to keep Curtis away from the outside part of the plate so he could throw the screwball.
Well, we talk so often about screwball pitchers and how putting a right-handed batter up in this spot doesn't always work to your advantage. 2 on, 1 out. Curtis, there's the screwball, and that's why I say if you have a lefty up there and that screwball's action is down and into a left-handed batter, it's right in that sweet part of the strike zone
instead of going down and away from Chad Curtis.
2 on, 1 out, 0-2 the count. Curtis off the bench for the Yankees. 1-2.
It's interesting to note that not every pitch is designed to be put into play or even have the hitter swing at it. Some pitches are designed to plan for thought.
Beltran and Piazza get together on the sides, and Curtis is jammed. The count stays 1-2, and again likely set up for that screwball.
So it's slider down and in. Curtis jerked it foul. 2 screwballs, 1 in the dirt. On the 1-1 or the 1-2 pitch, he came back with a fastball.
Yankees lead 5-4, 6th inning, have 2 on, 1 out. There it is, missing 2-2 as Curtis laid off. Bobby Valentine watching from the Mets dugout. The bullpen at this point has let him down in this 6th inning. Got it looking. 2 gone.
Catcher Jorge Posada.
He finally threw the screwball in the barrel. I mean, that is a perfect pitch from Beltran. It's really a fine at bat by Chad Curtis, but he was just bettered by that nasty 2-2 screwball.
They also like to get Curtis in the lineup for a better glove out in left field. They have that residual effect after that pinch hit strikeout, and Posada turns around, bats right-handed, and takes a strike. Jorge Posada's already gone deep today. He left the gates open though and let a run get in for the Mets back in the 4th inning. He pops this one up. Long run. Can anyone get there? Down the right field line. It's a foul ball. Out of the reach of Olerud, and strike 2 on Posada. Jorge Posada struggling at the plate, struggling defensively. Earlier this season, they sent him on a trip to go get his vision checked. Vision tested fine, and he waits for an 0-2 pitch from Beltran. 1-2.
Joe, we had a shot of Ricky Leday, who had the flub up in left field today. He's had a few of those this year. He's not had a good year. One of the toughest things about scouting a ball player is to know that he's good when he's going bad. I think Ricky Leday's going to be a fine major league outfielder, but right now he's got to prove it.
Good work by Beltran as he comes in, strikes out Curtis, strikes out Posada. But in the inning, leading off, that from Paul O'Neill to put the Yankees out in front here in the 6th. 5-4 Bombers.
Fox Saturday Baseball is brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Welcome back to Shea Stadium. We move to the bottom of the 6th inning. Robin Ventura has doubled. Drove in a run as he doubled. Scored a run later. Chad Curtis stays in the game as we expected. Plays left field. Ventura strike one.
Boy, you can see from those swings when Robin Ventura makes contact, his left big toe doesn't hurt. But when he swings through a pitch or fouls one back, it's stinging him a lot.
1 ball, 1 strike. Ricky Leday swinging one of the oddest weights ever seen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Somebody thought that up. That caught the inside corner, strike 2. Is that a snorkel? What was that?
Be tough to breathe through that thing. On top or underwater.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Ventura down the right field line, twisting into the corner, foul. Robin Ventura has scored a run. Not running well, as Tim pointed out, but he's sliding well.
That was some slide and a poor blocking of the plate by Jorge Posada. Happened in the 4th inning. That was the Mets' 4th run.
A 1-2 to Ventura. 2-2 from Pettit. No 5 and fly for Andy Pettit today. Got through the 5th inning, struck out Agbayani with 2 on. Trying to build his confidence as he goes along. Ventura grounds to Tino Martinez. Leadoff man is gone, and right now for a Budweiser game break, let's go back to Chris Byers in the Fox Network Center.
All right, thanks very much. Boston and Atlanta at Turner Field. That's Ozzie Guillen with Tom Glavine at second. He's going to get caught between third and home. And watch Mike Stanley, as Tim McCarver would point out here on the cutoff. He does the thing you're supposed to do. He runs at the runner until he has nowhere to go. And then Jason Varitek with the tag that keeps it a 1-1 game as they now move to the 8th inning.
All right, Chris, that's the way to do it. Run at the runner with a baseball, make him commit.
Yep.
Roger Cedeno, 1 out, nobody on. Cedeno has walked. He stole second, stole third, and scored on a sacrifice fly by Ordonez. Takes a strike from Pettit.
Scott Brocious at third, close enough to shake hands with Cedeno.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Okay, that was an exaggeration, but he's very close at third base. You'll see third baseman, in anticipating the bunt, on the edge of the infield grass, rarely 2 steps in front of it.
1 ball, 1 strike. And Brocious gets it hit right to him. Even playing in. He made that play easily. 2 up, 2 down, and Ray Ordonez will bat with the bases empty. Let's answer our American General Season to Remember question. In what year did Joe DiMaggio play in his first All-Star game? The answer is 1936. He was the first rookie to ever play in an All-Star game. For Joe DiMaggio, it was a season to remember. What position did Joe DiMaggio play in that? And his first 3 All-Star games.
That's the second part of that question?
That's the part for extra credit that I submit to you. And I know you know the answer to that, so don't fake it. Just tell me.
Okay. Right field. Because Earl Averill was the All-Star center fielder in 36, 7, and 8.
Hall of Famer Earl Averill. The 0-1 pitch. Ordonez chops to Jeter. And the Mets go in order for the first time this afternoon. The 7th inning rolls around. Back to Shea after these messages from your local Fox station.
You're watching Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week.
Well, mission accomplished for Andy Pettitte off a 9-1 loss at home against Baltimore. It wasn't a thing of beauty. It wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but he leaves after 6 innings with a 1-run lead. He'd walked 4, one of them intentional. Struck out 3, and he gives way to a pinch hitter, Jeff Manto, who takes strike 1. Is that enough for Pettitte as a stepping stone to try to get things turned around?
Well, he's got a lead, but he gave up 4 runs in 6 innings. Now, granted, 2 of those runs, a case could be made that they should not have scored. The ball misplayed by Ricky Leday, and then Robin Ventura scoring on a ball that he shouldn't have. No blocking on the plate by Posada. No, I don't think you base it on. I mean, if he wins the game, you're more inclined to say that's going to do something for his confidence. But did he pitch well enough to win most games? Well, 4 runs in 6 innings is not a positive indication. It's not bad, but it's not good. Okay.
Here's the pitch up and in. Manto checked his swing, 1-2.
The left-hander, Rigo Beltran, with that screwball, takes an awful toll on the arm, particularly the shoulder and the elbow.
Manto strikes out. Beltran has faced 3, struck out 3. Leadoff man is gone here in the 7th.
Good fastball from Rigo there to get Jeff Manto.
Manto, usually a very good fastball hitter. Dennis Cook, another lefty, getting ready for the Mets out in their bullpen. Back to the top of the order, Chuck Knobloch, who has a bloop single, 1 out of 3 this afternoon. Right down the middle, strike 1.
Our pal Jim Cott, who was an announcer and a great major league pitcher for a long time, 26 years in the major leagues. There's Romero Mendoza. He'll be the pitcher in the bottom of the 7th. Had a great explanation for a screwball, and that was one right there. He was talking about a right-handed pitcher. Jim Messier was the person about whom he was talking. You can see how that ball goes away, the stress on the arm. But if you're a left-handed pitcher, turn a doorknob all the way clockwise.
That is hammered into left field off the bat of Knobloch, and another Yankee home run. 5 on the day and a 2-run lead here in the 7th.
Produced by the Yankees today, produced by the home run ball. 5 home runs in this game, and now Chuck Knobloch joining the parade. And the screwball grip. Now that looked like a fastball. High fastball to a high fastball hitter.
That had to feel good, Tim, for Knobloch, who touches off his 5th of the year. Guy who's had a little controversy swirling around him with the defensive trouble, but he didn't miss this high fastball.
Woo. Hey, the balls have been jumping off Yankee bats today.
Still just a 2-run game, 6-4 the Yankees lead. A 2-run shot by O'Neill in the 1st, and then 4 solo home runs. 1 by Leday, 1 by Posada, 1 by O'Neill, his 2nd of the day, and that last one by Knobloch.
Another fastball by Beltran. You can see that ring finger becoming involved. Often that details a screwball, but upon release, he went to the fastball. Regrettably, as far as Beltran's concerned, happily from Knobloch's point of view.
One out, nobody on, 1 run in, 2 balls and a strike. 2-2. I've never seen a guy who played in the major leagues for 20-plus years cower at the sight of a foul ball coming
well,
toward
you're
him.
going to see it again and again and again, and you know that, so you know what to expect. I'm gone. That ball hurts. Believe me.
It was embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. There you go, using that word again.
That's right. That's your favorite word. Lean over here so they can see you.
I will duck that way because the wall's right here, so I can't go to my right. I never could go to my right anyway. But I can go to my left, and that's where I was going on that foul ball.
Which is right behind me.
That's exactly right. I'm gone. You're on your own. What do you want me to do? Push you out of the way? You're on your own.
2 out, nobody on for Paul O'Neill, who has gone deep twice today, and a nice ovation for O'Neill as he stands in with 2 out, nobody on.
You thought I was going to forget that doorknob story too, did you?
No.
I say the doorknob story with Chuck Knobloch hitting. I thought that was very appropriate.
I didn't even follow that.
But
O'Neill takes ball 1.
Kitty did talk about that. He said if a left-hander's throwing a screwball, turn a doorknob all the way to the right. And that's the arm position when the ball is released by a left-handed screwball pitcher on the screwball.
Ooh. Made O'Neill look bad on that swing. I'm going to guess that was the screwball.
I think it was a slider, Joe, because I do not think, like you said last inning, that left-handed pitchers will throw that screwball to left-handed hitters because it's in that volatile down and in area. So they resort to something else.
1 ball, 1 strike. That brings up another bone of contention between you and I.
All right.
2 balls and a strike.
Here's that slider grip to Paul O'Neill. You notice how the ring finger's not involved in that, but you can see that slider, that tightly wrapped slider to O'Neill.
No, you can't wait to hear this. 2 balls and a strike. O'Neill hits it hard. Ordonez Olay into left center field. O'Neill is on yet again. He's going to test Henderson. O'Neill safe with a hustling double in the 7th.
Great base running by Paul O'Neill. Why was he able to go to second base? Because he ran hard out of the box. And he takes his turn and never slows down. Makes it rather easily in the second.
One of George Steinbrenner's favorite Yankees is Paul O'Neill. And now a walk will be handed out to Jeter, who will reach base for the first time today, and that means that Jeter will reach for the 82nd time in the 84 games in which he has participated for the Yankees this year. You thought I forgot about our bone of contention.
I can't wait to hear it. Go. Go, Joe.
2 on, 2 out now. The walk to Jeter, and that leaves it in the lap of Tino Martinez. And I don't believe he's going to face Beltran. We're going to have a double switch.
First baseman Tino Martinez.
So a double switch. Brian McRae will come on. He'll bat in the 9th spot. Dennis Cook had been loosening, and that veteran left-hander will come in now. Double switch for the Mets. Another home run for the Yankees. Chuck Knobloch goes deep. Yankees up 6-4 in the 7th. We welcome you back to New York as the Mets and Yankees hook up here on Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week. We look ahead to Tuesday night. Tuesday, the greatest collection of home run hitters ever assembled take on Boston's legendary Green Monster. Coverage begins on Fox Sports Net at 7 p.m. with a 1999 All-Star Game special. Then at 8, tune in here for the blockbuster All-Star pregame show leading right up to the Midsummer Classic. That's Tuesday night. This is Dennis Cook with 2 on, 2 out, 1 run in here in the 7th inning.
Dennis Cook, an invaluable man in the Mets bullpen, particularly with John Franco out of there. Serves as the real quality left-hander to face left-handed hitters in the 6th, 7th, 8th innings.
The Yankees have their first 5 homer games since May 4th of 1997 against Kansas City. A couple of years ago they flexed like this. They pounded 5 out today, and Tino Martinez takes a ball inside from Cook.
The Yankees have been the Queens Bombers today.
O'Neill, the runner at second. Derek Jeter on at first. 1 ball, no strikes. 2 on. Don't laugh. 2 out. Tino to the right side. Alfonso to his left. Don't drop that line on me and then put your palms to the sky and go, well, it was worth a try. Chuck Knobloch goes deep. Yankees up by 2.
Good morning, Miss Bobby. How are we feeling today?
Good, thanks.
First at bat, batting in the number 9 spot, involved in the double switch. Mets find themselves down 2 as Mendoza watches Martinez bobble it, but recover for the put out 3-1. When Mendoza did his job, he never stopped going to the bag, and the Yankees get an out because of that.
Luxury of a first baseman when he drops the ball. Dropping the ball, not only drops it, but it goes behind him, and the wherewithal to pick it up and throw out Brian McCray.
The numbers for Ramiro Mendoza. I don't think those numbers are indicative of how big a part of this bullpen he really is. We've already gone through it. He can start long relief. He can close for you if you needed it. And he hits the strike zone with a first pitch to Ricky Henderson. It was a perfect 2 for 2 plus a walk on the day. One ball, 1 strike. Edgardo Alfonso will follow, and then if anybody gets on, Olrud. Strike 2.
Joe, when you have a pitcher the quality of Ramiro Mendoza, it's almost like expanding your roster. He is so flexible as to be a starter or an effective reliever. It's almost like having 2 pitchers in one. Talking about a warrior.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Came back to beat the Expos this week on Tuesday night. Pitching 5 innings of shutout ball. Oral Hershiser with 1 day's rest. Just unheard of in any age in baseball, but particularly in this day and age. That was Hideki Irabu, the fine starter who will be going against the Mets tomorrow.
1 ball, 2 strikes still on Ricky Henderson.
He'll be opposed by Oral Hershiser, who became only the 6th pitcher in this century, age 40 or older, to start and win a game on 1 day's rest. And the first to do so in 50 years. Bulldog for a reason. Talk about one of the more respected pitchers really in the last 50 years. That guy.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Henderson 2-2. On the other side, the other half of that matchup tomorrow, Hideki Irabu has started to show glimpses on a consistent basis of the pitcher the Yankees thought they were getting when they acquired Irabu from San Diego a couple of years back. Still 2-2 on Ricky Henderson.
Hideki pitching with so much more confidence his last 4 outings. May remember the spring training incident referred to as the fat toad by George Steinbrenner for not covering first base in a spring training game, and has recovered very well to give the Yankees something that they sorely need, a very effective 4th starter.
Here's a good indication as to why Ricky Henderson is still so dangerous at the plate. He will take pitches out of the strike zone all day long, and he has had the ability to foul off some tough deliveries from Mendoza. The 2-2. Little pop up behind first. That ball is trouble. That is a hit. Beyond the reach of Martinez, and Henderson on for the 4th time today, standing on second with 1 out.
Ricky Henderson is the toughest out I've ever seen. Not talking about a home run hitter. The ball just out of the reach of Martinez. And now Ricky finds a little crease in the outfield. Kind of canters into second base, turning it on when he needs to. I mean, I don't think that's an overstatement. This guy's on base percentage over 400 lifetime. He is a wicked out.
Tougher out than Carew.
Yes. Yes.
Edgardo Alfonzo took a ball.
Boy, is that a good example, though. Nice
Runner
going.
at second. Thank you. Runner at second, 1 out. A 1-0. Good rip by Alfonzo. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's your guy now. Major League ranks. Ranks first in stolen bases, 3rd in walks, 6th all time in runs scored.
About 230 behind Ty Cobb. Just had a remarkable career.
1 ball, 1 strike. Alfonzo chased 1, strike 2.
You could throw that same pitch to Alfonzo with 2 strikes, and he's not as apt to swing through it. Olrud on deck. One of the truly great 2-strike hitters in the game, Edgardo Alfonzo. But that's what you have to do. You could see Posada moving inside to Alfonzo. The time to jam Fonzie is with 2 strikes.
The 1-2. A little flare into right. That ball will carry to O'Neill. Ball really carrying here today. A little inside out swing by Alfonzo, and he flies to right for the 2nd out. That'll bring in John Olrud, who is 0 for 2 with a walk today. Last night, with the game tied at 1 in the 3rd inning, that rocket off Olrud's bat. Off Roger Clemens, who would later give up a 6th inning 3-run shot to Mike Piazza. It was an 0-2 pitch from Clemens, and that gave the Mets a 2-1 lead. Olrud's 13th of the year. He could connect here. See Roger Clemens on your right. He would tie this game. 6-4 Yankees, 7th inning. Runner at second. 2 out. Time called. Mendoza bothered by Henderson back at second with 2 out. And a 2-run lead. Better get Olrud.
You bothered needlessly.
One ball, no strikes. Mike Piazza, who has doubled home a run and been intentionally walked 1 out of 2 today, waits on deck. He would like to have a shot with men on here in the 7th. Inside corner, 1 ball, 1 strike.
If Mendoza can get Olrud to end the 7th inning, you do 2 things. You rub out the potential tying run at the plate, and you have Piazza hitting with nobody on.
And at least a 2-run lead.
Right.
How about the 1-1 from Mendoza? Over below, 2 balls and a strike. This Mets lineup will make you work. They do not offer it a lot of bad pitches. Even Ordonez, who struggled with that facet of his game the first couple of years, is getting better at it. Still has a long way to go. 2 balls and a strike on Olrud. 3-1. Waiting on deck. 6-time All-Star, about to head to his 7th All-Star game on Tuesday night. Mike Piazza, 1993 National League Rookie of the Year. Big numbers waiting on deck, and they will walk to the plate with 2 on, 2 out. The only Mets All-Star in this upcoming All-Star game on Tuesday night is the man at the plate. Mike Stanton, a left-hander, gets loose for the Yankees, but he just got up with an eye on Ventura, who is 2 spots away. Mets have the tying runs on with 2 out here in the 7th inning. Go-ahead run at the plate. He hit a 3-run homer here last night. And he takes a strike from Mendoza here in the 7th. The situation in front of Piazza. Mendoza trying to protect a 2-run lead, and Piazza wants time. Coming into his at-bat last night with 2 on. Mike Piazza was 7 for his last 47 with runners in scoring position. He popped a 3-run home run. Already 1 for 1 today with an RBI double back in the 1st inning. He has a chance here in the 7th for the Mets. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just another game, right? Yeah, right. 2 men aboard for Piazza. The go-ahead run at the plate for the Mets. 2-1. Joe Torre called on Ramiro Mendoza to work this 7th inning. The 2-1 to Piazza. Goodbye! Another 3-run home run! In honor of Yogi Berra, a beloved Yankee and Met, deja vu all over again for Mike Piazza against the Yankees.
3-run shot last night, and you talk about a bomb.
Hot by Yanni off the end of the bat. Late break by O'Neill, but he's there, and the inning is over. A 1-out double by Henderson. A 2-out walk to Olrud. It's just another game, right?
Yeah, right.
A 3-run home run from Mike Piazza. Their big money man delivers in the 7th, and And the Mets are back out in front. 7-6 Mets after 7. Couldn't ask for any more on a Saturday afternoon. Yankees and Mets. Dennis Cook, his first full inning of work. Scott Brocious leads off 1 out of 3 with a single. The Yankees have hit 5 home runs today as you look at Melvin Mora, who's taken over in right field for Agbayani. A 5 home run day for the Yankees, and we know one thing. It's not enough. The 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike from Cook. Brocious, then Curtis, and then Posada here in the 8th. Two balls and a strike from Dennis Cook.
I've got to tell you, Joe, that I have not seen too many balls hit farther than Piazza's ball in this ballpark. It hit the top of the tent, raised for the festivities of interleague play. If that tent weren't there, it lands about 70 feet behind the back fence in the parking lot here at Shea Stadium.
3 balls and a strike now on Brocious.
If you pay close attention, you can see the ball trickling down the tent and behind the bleachers there in left field. But it right on the top of the crease, the apex of that tent, raised behind the back wall in left field. It was some shot.
3-1 pitch. Brocious took ball 4, so now Cook turns around and walks the leadoff man in the 8th inning with a 1-run lead. Think he knew it?
Yep.
Still waiting on a measurement. As you look at the Mets bench reaction. And a cool curtain call from Mike Piazza.
Chopped that thing up into about 14 singles.
Or 2 home runs.
Or 2 home runs, right.
Tying run is on for the Yankees in the 8th. A 482-foot home run.
Oh.
Ball 1 to Curtis. And now Piazza out to the mound. Talk to Dennis Cook as they buy time for their bullpen to get ready. Just mention it again. Coming into that at bat last night in which Piazza connected off Roger Clemens was 7 for his last 47 with runners in scoring position. He's 3 for his last 3 in those spots. And in these 2 games against the Yankees, 4 out of 7 with 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and he's caught 3 on the bases. But the Yankees get a leadoff walk in the 8th. The 1-0 from Cook. A strike to Chad Curtis, 0 for 1 since pinch hitting for Leday in the 6th. One ball, 1 strike on Curtis. 1 on, nobody out for the Yankees.
Big hole on the right side.
Curtis, strike 2. Dennis Cook trying to pitch around a leadoff walk. And it's a battle of the bullpens here this afternoon now. Reed is long gone for the Mets, and Andy Pettit now had a win taken away. It was still a tall order for the Yankee bullpen to hang on, but a 3-run shot by Mike Piazza in the bottom of the 7th inning has Mendoza on the hook for the Yankees. One ball, 2 strikes on Chad Curtis. Missed the outside corner, 2-2. Piazza tried to pull that pitch back in.
Yeah, because actually his target was off the plate away. Watch how Mike Piazza sets up away. Great shot from our catcher cam, and as you see once again, even from our center field camera, that ball was outside.
Now the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Into right center field. McCray is back on the track to pull it in, 1 down. 1 on, 1 out. Brocious back to first, and Posada will hit. The MetLife Blimp Snoopy 1 has teamed up with Fox Sports to provide today's aerial coverage of the Mets and the Yankees Subway Series. The Blimp contains 68,000 cubic feet of helium and measures 130 feet in length from nose to tail. And there is a view from the Blimp. Down below we have had action.
I just read this week where this is the 50th anniversary of the Snoopy creator, Charles Schultz, who's still alive and well, 76 years young, lives in Northern California. Snoopy's been around, man.
1 on, 1 out. Posada calls time. Kirk Wendell, the right-hander, and now the closer for the Mets, Armando Benitez, getting loose here in the 8th inning. Chili Davis is on deck for the Yankees, and he will bat here in the 8th inning if there is no double play. Posada. That's foul outside third. Strike 1. Posada has homered today and struck out twice. John Franco with that electric stimulation machine hooked up to the finger as he watches from out in the Mets bullpen. Oh and 1 from Cook. To first. I'm sure don't expect Brocious try to steal here. He's stolen 3 bases. It's a 1-run game, 1 on, 1 out. Brocious stays put on a pitch up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike, and all of a sudden Mike Piazza, who's caught 3 in this series, is a weapon behind the plate for the Mets.
You know, the one thing Brocious was doing, he was moving up in the baseline, moving up as close to Olerud as he can to almost, it appeared to me, that he was trying to block Olerud's retreat to first base. Look how close he is. Look at that. A little gamesmanship right there.
Posada jammed and he fouls it out of play, and you can see Olerud having to come in all the way onto the grass to get out of the way of Brocious.
That's exactly right. So what Scott Brocious is doing, he's pressing Olerud forward, because the farther he gets toward home plate, the farther John Olerud has to get to come back to cover first. I've never seen that before. Of course, this is a way of coping with that particular type of defense that Bobby Valentine has set up with his first baseman, John Olerud. That's very smart base running.
He just creeps on with Olerud. Posada pops another foul and out of play. Heck, Brocious almost followed Olerud right onto the grass.
Give him a glove and you couldn't tell who was playing first. I think Jose Cardinel's whispering those things to Brocious, and there was a great base runner right there. Talk about a guy who took advantage of all the elements. He's behind what's happening right here, I guarantee you.
1 ball, 2 strikes on the man at the plate, Jorge Posada. One on, 1 out. Fastball's up. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It would be interesting for the first base umpire to make a call if Olerud retreats. Would Sam Holbrook call Brocious out for being out of the baseline? You can be out of the baseline toward home just like you can away from toward the outfield side. He's certainly within range right there, and I guess he knows it.
2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 on, 1 out. 1-run Mets lead here in the 8th. Into left field, well hit. Track wall number 6 on the day for the Yankees, and they're up by 1. Well, 5 home runs wasn't enough for the Yankees. 6 might be. 8-7 Yankees here in the 8th. And now Chili Davis will come off the bench and bat for the Yankees and replace Mendoza. Well, even with that 3-run 7th inning now, if his bullpen mates can hang on, Mendoza would be in line for the win. 1 out, nobody on. Chili Davis for the shortstop Ordonez. Has time, 2 out.
Dennis Cook tries to come inside on Posada. Jorge says, nope, I'll handle this one. First 2 home run game of the year for Jorge Posada. Wow. 1 left-handed and 1 right-handed.
Have I worn out the it's just another game line yet?
No, you haven't.
Tell me when you look at the reactions of these 2 dugouts that this just mixes in with a regular season game. No way.
No
2
way.
out, nobody on for Knobloch, who's homered today. Another click off the bat. 6th time that's happened today for the Yankees. O'Neill has 2. Posada has 2. You have to go all the way back to 1990 to find the last time the Yankees hit 6 home runs in a game. It came at Minnesota. They didn't have to travel that far for this road game, and the 6th home run bombing of the Mets to this point. 8-7 the Yankees out in front here in the 8th, and a 2-ball 1 strike count on Knobloch. The 2-1 pitch to Chuck, looking for his 3rd hit. 3 balls and a strike, and Cook looks like he is about finished. Three balls and a strike. In case you're wondering what the delay is, there's a little skirmish right up above us. Club record is 8 home runs in 1 game for the Yankees, which came back in 1939. A 2-out walk is handed to Knobloch on base for the 3rd time this afternoon. And with Bernie Williams coming up, do they put Bernie on his power side, flip him around, make him bat left-handed against a right-hander out of their bullpen, or do they try to get one more out of Cook?
Well, if you're going to try to get one more out and Bernie Williams gets on, you're more inclined to leave him in to face Paul O'Neill. Looks like they're going to make a move immediately.
So with Williams coming up, another call to the bullpen. Dennis Cook gave up a leadoff walk, and then that's Cook knew it. Posada knew it. The 6th home run of the afternoon for the Yankees. Another pitching change. Cook is gone, largely thanks to this from Jorge Posada.
Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week puts you on the field with Catcher Cam as Brian Jordan and the Braves square off against Derek Jeter and the Yankees in a rematch of the 1996 World Series and a possible preview of this year's Fall Classic. Or San Diego's Tony Gwynn continues his pursuit of 3,000 hits as the Padres try to keep up with Ken Griffey and the Mariners. Coverage begins next Saturday with In the Zone at 12:30 Eastern and Pacific on Fox.
Well, the 5th pitcher of the day is Turk Wendell. Good numbers, a lot of work. This will be his 46th game of the year, and he leads the National League with those appearances.
Secrets of Turk's success: one slider after another to right-handed batters, not nearly as many sliders to left-handed batters. He relies more on the fastball, I think, the lefties.
Well, you just had a shot of Jorge Posada. Why do the Yankees consider this guy a major weapon? How many teams have a catcher that young that can step to the plate from each side and go deep as he has here this afternoon to put the Yankees back out in front?
He's still a little rough around the edges as far as a catcher is concerned, but keep in mind that Jorge signed as a second baseman, played shortstop a lot his first 2 years of professional ball. So he's really, it's on the job training, learning the position of catching in the big leagues.
Well, now we'll take a look, and you mentioned it, Tim, during the break. Take a look and see if Knobloch does what Brocious did, but they hold him on the conventional way.
Yeah. I wonder if Bobby Valentine told Olerud to hold him on conventionally because of what Brocious was doing with Posada at the plate.
It also makes a difference, however, between a right-hander and a left-hander on the mound.
Yep, that's true.
So Cook, the lefty, pictured there, is gone, and with a right-hander on the mound, Olerud plays on the bag. Knobloch has been caught stealing once today, and Williams took a ball, now another. It's 2-0. Long half inning for the Mets. The 2-0. Now what Williams has got in his mind on a 2-0 pitch. He takes ball 3 down and in, 3-0.
That's why it's bad to jam a hitter with the count 2 balls and no strikes. 0-2's all right, but 2-0, you're looking inside. A guy who is jammable is certainly less jammable, and here it is. They're coming back inside, 3-0.
And Wendell missed by plenty as it floated up and away for ball 4. That's the 3rd walk in this inning. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. From offense here at Shea Stadium between the Yankees and the Mets to the 70th Midsummer Classic coming up on Tuesday night in Boston. The All-Stars will be taking their hacks at the Green Monster. Here's Wendell now dealing with Paul O'Neill. And here's the point you brought up earlier. You take Cook out, You hope he ends the inning with Williams, which he could not. Stanton getting ready to pitch the bottom of this 8th inning, and now Wendell has to face Paul O'Neill.
Yeah. Paul already with 2 home runs in this game. No place to put him.
A 1-0 pitch. Strike at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike.
What would be the odds, the way Derek Jeter has played the first half of the season, to go into a game and say in the top of the 8th, the Yankees are going to have 8 runs scored and 6 home runs, and Derek Jeter not contributing any of that. Not even a hit.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 on, 2 out. And Wendell's having trouble throwing strikes. 2-1. Pat Mahomes is loosening for the 2nd time today. Not typically getting loose in a 1-run game in the 8th inning. But this is not a typical game. That we have determined.
Yep.
2-1. O'Neill pops it the other way. Henderson hardly has to move. Barely did. The inning is over, but not before major damage. A leadoff walk. A 1-out 2-run shot by Posada. Yankees back up by 1.
Art, Nissan, driven, and by Ralston Purina Company of Checkerboard Square.
Today, the MetLife blimp Snoopy 1 is navigating the skies above Shea Stadium here in Queens to provide the aerial coverage of this afternoon's Mets game. MetLife blimp is capable of reaching a maximum speed of 55 miles per hour at an altitude of 7,000 feet. Look to the skies for the MetLife blimp at future events throughout the year.
7,000 feet. It sounds like the distance the home runs have traveled today. Good pitches? No, not there. Middle of the plate? Not there. That was a good pitch. Posada hit the other way. Not there, down and in. High fastball? Not there. Middle in. Some people are under the impression that anytime a guy hits a home run, it's a mistake. But in my judgment, my view from those swings, 5 of the 6 home runs that were hit by the Yankees today were not good pitches.
Robin Ventura will lead off against Mike Stanton, the 3rd pitcher of the day for the Yankees, who to this point have simply outslugged the Mets. Numbers for Stanton on the year. Ventura, bad foot and all, tries to bunt. Good play by Posada out at first. Ventura not running well. Still, it took a very good play from Posada to retire the first man here in the 8th.
What about the play of both catchers in this game? Piazza with the 3-run home run. Posada with 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. Piazza's thrown out 2 runners. And now this fine play by Posada. Realizing he has to get rid of it quickly. Nice play on the other end, dug out by Tino Martinez. Piazza obviously the guy who should field that ball because he's the one going toward first base.
Here is Todd Pratt to pinch hit for the Mets. Ventura takes that guard off the left foot. Pratt is the 3rd man off the bench for Bobby Valentine. So Wendell ends up getting 1 out. Goes a 3rd of an inning with a walk. Big swing by Pratt. Strike 2. Oh, 2 the count. 1 out, nobody on. Pratt. Stanton went right through him. 2 up, 2 down for the Mets here in the 8th inning. Stanton tries to restore a little order to this game on the Fox Saturday Night of Justice. Always real, always intense, an action-packed hour of cops. Then did the Iraqi government have this Virginia family killed? All new, America's Most Wanted. It all starts at 8 Eastern, 7 Central tonight on Fox. 2 out, nobody on. And the batter will be Ordonez, who's 0 for 1 plus 2 sac flies. And a delivery low from Stanton, ball one. Stanton, who first made his presence felt in the big leagues with the Atlanta Braves, no stranger to pitching here at Shea Stadium. Trying to retire the Mets in order for just the second time today. Pettit did so back in the 6th inning, his final inning of work. Looked like Ordonez was taking a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It is very difficult to get across to young hitters that if you take, you hit. Obviously, if you don't.
Off the end of the bat to center, Bernie Williams, an easy play, and the Mets go in order.
If you continue to swing at everything, and that's what that means, they'll continue to throw you balls, not strikes.
Good work by Stanton. A 1-2-3-8. Yankees still up by 1. Pat Mahomes is yet another coming out of that Mets bullpen. 5th pitcher out of the bullpen today for Bobby Valentine, a record of 2-0, an ERA over 4. And here he is pitching in the top of the 9th inning in a 1-run game. Yankees lead it 8-7.
Pat made his major league debut with the Minnesota Twins, and recall from Norfolk, the AAA affiliate of the Mets, in mid-May.
There are no easy innings against the Yankees, and Derek Jeter will lead off. Then Tino Martinez and Scott Brocious. Yankees up by 1. A pretty good fastball from Mahomes for strike 1. Jeter is hitless on the day, but he did receive an intentional pass his last time up, so he's been on base in 82 of the 84 games she has participated. 0-2 in a hurry on Jeter. More bad news for the New York Mets is the ending to the Boston-Atlanta games. The Braves came from behind to win it, tied it, and then won it. And we will give you a highlight of how that game came to a close, and we understand it's a little out of the ordinary. The 0-2 to Jeter leading off. Ooh, pretty good pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Reed went 5, then McMichael, Beltran, Cook, Wendell, now Mahomes. Mets are left with Isringhausen and Benitez out there. 2-2. Tino Martinez next. Sun breaks through here at Shea Stadium. The 2-2. Wouldn't chase. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Talk about the importance of this game for the Mets coming in. They won here last night 5-2. Good combination of Leiter and Benitez. Imperative for Mahomes for the Mets to keep this a 1-run game. 3-2 pitch to the right side. Alfonso, a tough play, good play, 1 out. The much anticipated Budweiser game break. Back to Chris Myers in the Fox Network Center.
All right, Joe, you said it was an out of the ordinary finish here. Brian Hunter with 2 strikes, a sacrifice bunt here. And Loughton throws the ball that gets by Stanley. Coming from first, Andrew Jones is coming all the way home, and that is the game-winning run. He homered earlier, so did Stanley. But the Braves win it at 11, 2-1. Back to Joe and Tim.
All right, Chris, thank you. Get a chance to at least get an idea as you look at the Braves now 4.5 up on the Mets with this game pending. Just how fast and what kind of an athlete Andrew Jones is to score from first on that ball.
His improvement similar and parallels Derek Jeter's improvement of the Yankees. Both breaking in the same year in 1996.
Jeter, the Rookie of the Year in the American League. Andrew Jones with 2 home runs in his first World Series game, becoming the youngest ever to homer in a World Series. 2-0 pitch, 1 out, nobody on. Martinez 2-1.
Then he did the same thing his second at bat. 2 home runs his first 2 at bats before he reaches the age of 20.
2 balls and a strike. Martinez 3-1. Well, what a big inning Mike Stanton just delivered for the Yankees. Setting up one of the game's best closers in Rivera. 3 balls and a strike. Martinez pops it into right, got under it. And Mora is there. He didn't see it. Now he recovers. 2 out.
That's an interesting point that you just brought up about Rivera. The middle innings of this ball game, you've got the feeling that whoever had the lead in the 9th inning would have a considerable advantage. Of course, if the Mets had the lead, they could bring in Armando Benitez to pitch to the Yankees. And now that the Yankees have the lead, their main man, Mariano Rivera, will be the pitcher in the bottom of the 9th. 2 dominant closers for these 2 ball clubs.
One's watching Benitez, the other's getting ready. Rivera pitches up to Brocious, who is 1 for 3, a single, a walk, and a run scored. He walked to start the 8th inning after that dramatic 3-run home run by Piazza in the bottom of the 7th inning with 2 out.
There it is. There it is. Here I am going to my right, too.
Yeah. I think I just unplugged my headset.
Hi,
Rough
gang.
road ahead.
Yeah, right. That was close.
You look at the All-Star break through August 5th and the winning percentage and what the Mets have to do. The reason why we sound like we're speaking English for the first time in our lives. August 5th through the end of the season, it gets only tougher for the New York Mets, and it includes 3 West Coast swings for the Mets. Pitch high, 3-1. We had a foul ball off the bat of Brocious that literally split right in between us.
Hit our monitor.
Thing's tough.
See, if I'd have gone to my left then, I'd have gotten nailed.
3-1 pitch. 2 out walk.
I noticed you went to your left, too.
Well, there are certain foul balls that I'm just not going to get in front of. And that was one.
You were ragging me earlier in the game for being a wimp.
It was just the way you did it. It was like,
well, I got out of the way. I mean, it doesn't matter how you're going to get out of the way. Check this out. I was gone. And so Joe Buck is in the foreground, heading right into your living room right there. I don't blame you, but at least admit it.
Is that how I look from behind?
Yes.
There's a strike over the outside corner. I'll be having yogurt on the flight home. Curtis, his 3rd at bat. He's 0 for 2. Struck out and flied out since taking over for Leday, who homered in his final at bat in the 5th. Brocious running. Can Piazza get his 4th of the series? No. Into center, and Brocious pops up and heads to 3rd, and there's an extra run with 2 out.
Number of outs often dictates whether you run or not. Real running jump by Scott Brocious. The ball into the first base side of the infield. Alfonso had no chance. So a throwing error on Mike Piazza. 5th error of the year for Piazza.
Stolen base for Brocious, number 4. The 0-2 to Curtis. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Joe, that's a big run out there for the Yankees, and the reason is, in my view, Ricky Henderson. Because Ricky Henderson's going to try to entice a walk out of Rivera, and if he gets on, and he could not only be the potential tying run, but he could steal second base.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Curtis. 2-2.
Henderson due up 2nd in the bottom of the 9th inning.
We'll have McCray, then Henderson, 2 leadoff types. Then Alfonso, and then the runners on, you get into Olrud and Piazza. Top of the order. Part of it, at least, will bat in the 9th inning for the Mets. It was 0-2. It's now 3-2 on Chad Curtis with Posada. 2 home runs on the day on deck. Mahomes has got to try to get Curtis. Curtis is hitting only .214. Brocious a 2-out walk, then the steal, the error on the throw. 3-2. Not even close. Back-to-back walks. 7th walk handed to the Yankees this afternoon, and the Yankees are just too good to hand 7 walks to and hope you can beat them. Tuesday, the greatest collection of home run hitters ever assembled take on Boston's legendary Green Monster. Coverage begins on Fox Sports Net at 7 p.m. with the 1999 All-Star Game special. Then at 8, tune in here for the blockbuster All-Star pregame show leading right up to the game itself. Tuesday night on Fox.
I don't think Chad Curtis should be running in this situation. And the reason is, if he steals second base, they're going to walk Posada. And Luis Sojo or a right-hander would have to be the batter. I think Curtis stays put to give Posada a chance to hit here.
And it opens up that right side as well as he bats left-handed. The step to third, look to first move, which actually fooled the Mets on a Fox Saturday baseball game of the week 2 weeks ago in St. Louis. Doesn't work here. First and third, 2 out. Big swing by Posada, strike 1. Holmes has made this inning difficult. Hasn't been able to throw strikes after retiring Jeter and Martinez. He's walked Brocious and Curtis. Posada waiting for the 0-1. Again for the Mets in the bottom of this 9th inning. McCray, Henderson, Alfonso. If anybody gets on, Olerud. After that, Piazza. One ball, one strike. To the right side for Alfonso. Gets a tricky hop and a tough play look very easy. And the Yankees strand a couple. They've left 9. One error in the inning. McCray, Henderson, Alfonso coming up for the Mets. Well, you look at those numbers, 124 consecutive victories when leading after 8 innings. Second longest streak in Yankee history. And here they are in a spot as their general manager Brian Cashman looks on to win the second game of this set here at Shea Stadium. A game we came in talking about the importance of this game to the New York Mets, never having defeated the Yankees in any one of these 3-game sets. Talking about winning the series since interleague play began 3 years ago. And how big was that 1-2-3 8th inning by Stanton that set up the lead, and it sets up the closer for the Yankees, Mariano Rivera, who's 4th in the American League with 22 saves.
And it is imperative that Mariano retire Brian McCray to lead off the inning, because as we said, you're going to have Ricky Henderson in that squeegee stance of his, trying to get as small as he can, or at least the strike zone, make the strike zone as small as he can against a high fastball pitcher.
Brian McCray will lead off here in the 9th inning. Only his second at bat. Brian McCray trying to get something started. Yankees lead 8-7. And a strike over the inside corner from Rivera. One ball, one strike.
That's that cut fastball that Rivera throws to left-handed batters. It acts like a slider, but there's a later movement to it. It's the reason for its effectiveness.
A high strike. McCray didn't agree, and now he's in the hole 1-2.
How many times have you seen that call this year?
Not at all.
A strike just under the letters? Unheard of.
On 1-2. McCray breaks his back. Tough play, Knobloch. Remember the throwing trouble. Got it. And a big play for the Yankees and Chuck Knobloch. And there's one where he didn't have to think. He got rid of it in a hurry, and he got it to first. And a nod of approval from Joe Torre.
On his reaction plays, he doesn't think about it. Well, the mind's a great thing if you don't have to use it. Fine play by Knobloch to just get McCray at first. Bang, bang.
And now McCray's helmet after that play ended up at home plate. And you get a look at the freeze frame of that play at first, and they did get McCray for the first out. Now Ricky Henderson, who is at a perfect day at the plate, takes a blistering fastball for strike one. McCray's helmet after that play ended up back at home plate, right at the feet of the home plate umpire, Jeff Kellogg. I think in mild protest to that second strike call. McCray's still hot about it. 1 ball, 1 strike on Ricky Henderson. He singled twice, doubled, scored twice, walked, and been caught stealing.
Ricky will steal that high strike right here. Anything above the belt's going to be a ball to him.
That's low. 2-1. What a series so far for Mike Piazza. But the Mets down by a run here in the 9th inning as Henderson takes that high delivery. 3-1. A 1-out walk. 5 times on base today for Ricky Henderson, and there's the tying run.
We talked about it in the bottom of the 8th inning. Unless the Yankees scored again, Ricky Henderson was going to be a key here in the bottom of the 9th inning. You could almost feel that type of at-bat coming with Rivera against Henderson.
23 come from behind victories for the Mets this season, 3rd in the league. And Edgardo Alfonzo hitless on the day. Bats with 1 on, 1 out. And a strike from Rivera. Rivera blew a save chance this past week while in Detroit. But it was a game the Yankees eventually came back to win. He has a 1-run lead to protect here in the 9th inning. 1 on, 1 out. Runner was going, but time was called at the plate.
And that time was called by Ricky Henderson's teammate, Edgardo Alfonzo. He had waited long enough. The New York Mets have a consecutive streak of 124 games where they've had the lead after 8 innings.
Take a look at the jump. The time was called. Fair jump by Henderson, but there was no play. One the count on Alfonzo. Henderson starts and stops, and Alfonzo pops it into left center field. Well hit. Back at the track is Williams, and he missed it. at third. The potential winning run. Edgardo Alfonzo at second with only one out here in the ninth.
There were two feelers on that play. Bernie Williams feeling for the wall, thinking it's there and it's not. A ball that should have been caught. Look at the right hand. And then Ricky Henderson, who should have been around second base, wasn't to second base, and Ricky may have been going back to first base. Ricky's got to score on that ball. He's got to be by the bag and then pick up the ball. Ricky Henderson's got to score on that ball.
Now Olerud comes up empty. Infield is in, and that consecutive game streak for the Yankees in jeopardy of 124 straight when taking a lead into the ninth inning. It's an 8-7 Yankee lead. Second and third, one out, and it's up to Olerud with Piazza on deck. Good swing, but strike two.
And Bernie Williams jumps up and makes that play. Ricky Henderson, even if he's by the bag, can easily get back to first base. If he's by the bag, he scores.
The count 0-2 on Olerud. Rivera needs the strikeout. To the first baseman, Martinez, out, two gone. The runners have to hold, and Piazza will walk in. With first base open, I would be surprised if they pitched to Piazza.
I think you got to walk him, even though you're facing the left-hander up. And Matt Franco, the best pinch hitter the Mets have. I think you got to walk Piazza right here.
They will. Second intentional pass being handed to Mike Piazza here this afternoon. 2 3-run home runs in this series for Piazza. Last night against Roger Clemens. And today in the 7th inning, that shot with 2 out off Mendoza. That's ball 3 of the intentional pass. This will load him up. And it will load him up for Matt Franco, who will come off the bench. And again, to reiterate, even though Williams got back there, they ruled that a double for Alfonso. It set up second and third, one out, but Olerud grounded out. And now with runners at first, second, and third, it's up to Matt Franco.
Jose Cardinal, who directs the outfielders, moving Bernie Williams back. Also Paul O'Neill. You have to respect the power of Matt Franco.
Tying run 90 feet away. Potential winning run at second. 2 out. Matt Franco. Strike one. This could be the final strokes for the Mets here today in a game that they desperately want. Had a 7th inning lead. Could not hang on. And against one of the best closers in all of baseball, have a rare 9th inning chance. Bases loaded, 2 out. Strike 2, and the Yankees are 1 strike away from a win here at Shea.
Matt Franco cuts down on his swing with 2 strikes and tries to hit the ball to left field. Tough assignment against Rivera.
Just low for ball 1.
You could read Joe Torre's lips. That ball's not low, but it was called low.
Now on 1 and 2, Matt Franco trying to be the hero. Into right field, a base hit.
Was it a strike? Joe Torre thought so. The 0-2 pitch. Called the ball. The 1-2 pitch wins it for the Mets.
2 strikes on Franco, and he is the hero on a Saturday afternoon, and the New York Mets will take their first series from the New York Yankees since interleague play began. They won last night 5-2, and they win today in a thriller as Alfonso scores the winning run. They get the 1-run victory here this afternoon. A 9-8 Mets win over the Yankees.
I'll tell you, Joe, this is one of the great regular season games I've seen in a long, long time.
Look at that reaction, and the reaction of Ordonez's teammates, and tell me again, this is just another game.
6 home runs and you don't win in a 9-inning game?
Matt Franco set up against one of the game's best closers. That streak, by the way, is gone for the Yankees. They went 124 consecutive games when taking a lead into the 9th inning that they eventually won. They do not win here this afternoon. It's time for today's play of the game, brought to you by Energizer. What else could be the play of the game in a 1-run win for the Mets as they come back with 2 in the 9th inning? The 2-out, 2-strike hit by Matt Franco, and after getting the hit, he became a spectator, hoping that Alfonso would score before the tag. He did, and the Mets get the victory, and they will take this series against the Yankees. They'll go for the sweep tomorrow afternoon as Major League Baseball winds down its first half, and we all approach the All-Star break. What a day. So many highlights to bring you from Shea Stadium. So many home runs. 6 hit by the Yankees today. It wasn't enough. The New York Mets come storming back in the 9th inning. Get 2 to win it. And for Tim McCarver, for Steve Lyons, for Keith Olbermann, for our producer Mike Coastal Weissman, our director Bill Webb, Steve Horn here in the booth, Aaron Stoikov. We say so long from Shea Stadium. A memorable day, a Saturday on Fox. The final score, the Mets win it 9-8 over the Yankees right now. Chris Myers comes along in the Fox Television Center. Good night from New York.
And thank you, Joe Buck and Tim McCarver. That Yankee-Met finish just part of a dramatic day of interleague play with some fantastic finishes. And let's get to the scoreboard and recap all of the action. The game you just saw, again, 6 home runs by the Yankees. Paul O'Neill with 2, Jorge Posada with 2, but a 2-out, 2-strike, 2-run shot by Matt Franco, delivering the game-winning difference as the Mets rally to beat the Yankees 9-8. Extra innings, Boston and Atlanta. Brian Hunter, a 2-strike bunt that is thrown away. It gets past Stanley. Andrew Jones running from first, comes home with the winning run. He homered earlier, as did Stanley, but the Braves beat the Red Sox by the score of 2-1 in 11 innings. Garciaparra did not play. Cubs and White Sox, Sosa did not homer, but the Cubs hammer the White Sox 10-2 at Comiskey Park. Bottom of the 9th, another dramatic finish. The Indians trailing by a run until Omar Vizquel delivers a game-winning 2-run homer with 2 out. Back in May, he hit a grand slam on the bottom of the 9th to beat Detroit. His 3rd home run this year. He had 2 all of last year, and the Indians come from behind. Their 34th come-from-behind win, their 56th victory of the year as they knock off the Reds 11-10 at Jacobs Field. Manny Ramirez hit 2 homers in the game in that one. Arizona hosting the A's. Tim Raines has a homer. Randy Johnson trailing in that one, 2-0 in the 4th. The Padres and Rangers. Juan Gonzalez has just homered for Texas, but Andy Ashby and San Diego have a 3-1 lead. And Mark McGwire, his 28th home run of the season, a solo shot. He scores his 1,000th career run as the Cardinals lead the Giants in the bottom of the 4th at San Francisco. And you'll see Mark McGwire at Fenway and all the other Gray Stars as Fox brings you the 99 All-Star Game Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern, the pregame show. The game follows. They'll have a ceremony honoring the greatest living baseball players of our time. I'm Chris Myers here in the Fox studios. Thanks for being with us on a busy Saturday for baseball. Hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy the All-Star Game on Tuesday, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
is the place where champions are crowned, where legends are made, and dreams come true. This has been a presentation of Fox Sports.